Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All, the show for Carolina Panthers fans by Carolina Panthers fans. As always, if you know what we do here, this is your show to be a part of the action. Jump on and talk Carolina Panthers football live on the C3 Panthers podcast with us. I've pinned the link to the top of the YouTube and Facebook channel. Join via StreamYard. Come in and talk Panther football, man. As always, we have a ton to talk about. Even when there's nothing to talk about, there's always something to talk about. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live. First up, my man, Christian Sigma Panther, back on the free for all. What's up, dude?
Hello, Cody. Hello, Pickle. It's good to be back on the field. Been a few weeks talking more Panther football. Us three, we can always chat Panther football year round, man. But I think we got some things to talk about. Also, at some point, I just want to wish good luck to the U.S. national team playing tonight with
USA, USA,
Paraguay.
USA.
So maybe we can even get some predictions today before we head out.
I predict it'll be a tie. Because that's kind of what they do in soccer. Let me not talk shit, man. It's the most popular sport all over the world, but it's still not our beloved football. You know what I mean? Next up, you know him, you love him, Panther Pickle, back on the free for all. What's up, Panther Pickle?
What's up, Cody? What's up, Christensen? What's up, folks? Another beautiful day to talk the Carolina Panthers. Uh, the franchise running back. No, the franchise wide receiver, Xavier Legette. Jalen Coker got his new contract. I'll get all that correct here in a minute. Uh, but hey, it's going to be I think it's going to be a very exciting season. I really do.
I do
I
too,
think we're going to see some offense and a style of offense that we haven't seen in Carolina. I really do believe that. I don't think it's going to be running back, or I don't think it's going to be a run first offense. Yeah, uh, uh, your man Canales is
yeah, yeah.
really smart
My
by
not
telling
not not
everybody that.
just my man, my best friend. You know, we
Oh yeah,
text.
yeah, yeah.
You
That's right.
know,
That's right. That's
you
right.
know he wished me good
Yeah.
night before I go to sleep. You know,
Does he
I
check you
send
in
him.
even, or does
I
his
mean,
wife check you in?
I send him Instagram videos. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, I see.
that's my
I see how
dog.
it
I'm
is
just
now.
saying, not everybody's as connected as me. But you know, hey, when I get some inside scoop, I'll be sure to let y'all lesser Panther fans know what the
Uh,
scoop is. But how about this? You want to talk
those
about
Indians.
scoop? You want to talk about scoop? How about this Panthers front office continues to make moves, and they have already locked up a fan favorite. Jalen Coker has been locked in by the Carolina Panthers. This is from Ian Rappaport. The Panthers and wide receiver Jalen Coker agreed to terms on a 3-year extension worth $35 million with incentives up to $41 million per agent gross mat. The deal comes now for Coker, who was set to be an exclusive rights free agent this year and an RFA next year. He is set to be free again at 27. So listen, Jalen Coker was an undrafted free agent the same year that we moved up to number one to draft
Mhm.
Xavier Legette. So clearly they're telling you what they think about Jalen Coker in this offense,
Right.
and the fact that they decided to keep him here and give him that extension. I've said before that when you have guys that you have built them up from the moment they were a rookie and then have seen them blossom, it goes a long way to pay those players so that way they know, hey, if you bust your ass for the Carolina Panthers, you will get paid by the Carolina Panthers. So I think this is a great move. We'll talk about what it means for Xavier Legette in a minute. But boys, just initially, what are your first thoughts about Jalen Coker being extended by Dan Morgan and the gang. It's a free for all, boys. Jump on it. Who wants it?
Uh,
Pickle does.
I, I tell you what, I really liked. I heard this talked about on the radio a lot, and I hadn't really popped up the Observer uh, to read these articles. I just took what I saw online and went with it. But they were talking that according to Mike Kay, this is pretty much the money that a first round pick gets. So we really worked out well. Plus, it's incentive based. The article states it is incentive based a lot. So there is leeways. It's my understanding there was leeways in this deal if things go sour. But I really expect Coker to get another contract from the Panthers, and because he has to. He's playing out an exclusive rights tag, then this contract kicks in. So in about, I'd say 3 or 4 years, I think we'll have to give him another contract. But it makes it intriguing for the wide receivers battles coming up. It really truly does. Uh, uh, it kind of matches closely to what some first round picks get. As you,
So, off the top of my head, I don't know if all these guys were first round picks or not, but so this is where Jalen Coker's new contract
Darius Slay one,
lines up amongst other wide receivers.
one penny was.
Darius Slayton at 12 million,
He
Jalen
wasn't a first
Naylor.
round.
Right, yeah,
He was.
I don't think most of these guys were.
Right, I don't think so.
Jalen Naylor at 11.67 million, Jalen Coker at 11.66 million, and Jawan Jennings
Okay.
at 8 million. He says the Panthers get a steal. And to me,
Right.
this is a little bit of forward thinking, right?
Oh yeah.
Jalen Coker at the end of the year last year, he was putting up better numbers. And again, I'm not saying they had a better season than TMAC, but at the end
Right.
of the year, he was putting up more consistent numbers than even TMAC was. Now,
Right.
TMAC is the number one receiver, so they're going to shade all of their defense over to him. But I think, for all of these years now, they have been able to see how good of a connection Bryce Young
Mhm.
has with Jalen Coker. And if that trend continued this year, Coker would be even more expensive going into 27.
Uh,
So to me, this is a very prudent deal for them to make right now and get him signed before that number goes up dramatically.
right. If I may read this real quick, it says Coker's 8.75 million annual base average puts him in similar territories to former top 10 picks with the notable base salaries. Jordan Tyson, who was selected eighth by the Saints this year, makes 8.12 million per year. Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Marvin Harris, taken fourth overall last year, makes 8.84 million on the average per year.
So
So
what
that
you
does
mean
for
is,
him.
what you mean is that he didn't get paid like a first round pick. He's getting paid like a first round pick on their rookie deal. So
Right.
he's making the
Yes.
same ballpark
Yeah.
of money. Yeah,
Yeah, that's really good for us.
So here's
Christian, jump in on this, man. What do
yeah,
you make
yeah.
of this?
What I make of it, I mean, to me, it was gonna happen. There was always a small chance that maybe they weren't gonna do something for him, but I think we all kind of knew deep down that he was gonna get a longer term deal. We didn't know the terms. The but the downsides of Coker was he hasn't been that available the last 2 years, but when he was, he's shown more than XL. And I there's probably some fans that just don't like XL, but I think at least us three would love to see XL thrive, and then we'd love to see Coker really do what he
Mhm.
did, but be consistent and be available as well. So
Yeah,
hopefully, I mean, yeah, I think he's an up and comer,
Mhm.
and he can definitely earn that wide receiver two gig right now. I think he's kind of got it by default because
yeah.
it is right now.
Right.
Yeah, I
This,
mean, why wouldn't he be number two? I mean, he has been when he is on the field, he has easily been one of the most dependable wide receiver options that we
right.
have, and it's really not close. And I think that they like what he is building to
Well,
be. but he has already sort of proven himself to be. And dude, he catches everything.
I heard he has
He
zero
absolutely
drops.
catches everything.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got 0
zero
drops in
drops.
2 years. That's
Damn.
wild. And you know, to me, I say Coker is our number two, and it will be his until he messes up and he don't got it. And I mean that it's his to lose. And I don't mean that as a negative. I mean let
Well,
Coker keep playing like he's playing. He'll see the field more. You know, you know, I love his best game he had last year was in the playoffs. What a time to shine! I mean, really,
Yeah.
and I thought it was funny, and I know you'll talk about it later, Cody. But TMAC gained muscle, gained some weight,
Yeah.
gained muscle. Xavier Legette lost some weight. Says he's
Yeah.
looking thinner, better, got his leg worked on a little bit. He's really doing good. And still has occasional drops, but that's going to happen. And it's really going to make, and not counting all the other guys that we can name, it's really going to make this offseason and training camp really exciting to see how this wide receiver venture turns out. It really is. It's going to make predicting the 53 for us fans quite a bit harder.
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
especially when you have Derek fucking Moore can't go away because Canales just can't
Yeah,
let the guy
I
go,
agree to
man.
that.
And the
What
dude,
we got to do is
he's already
pay him to
making
take a.
plays. He's already making
Yeah,
plays in
dude,
OTAs.
Canales got some Brokeback Mountain shit going with him, man. He just can't quit him.
I tell you what,
I know.
I tell you what, dude. It's as much as every year I figure out a different reason to hate David Moore. Every single reason, and every year he's still
He
here.
finds a way to make the
Maybe,
roster.
maybe. So I'm going to reverse. I said this on my show the other day. I'm going to reverse psychology this. David Moore should be the best receiver we have on the roster. He should be number one and challenge TMAC for the job. If I get overexcited about David Moore, maybe he'll lose his job then. Maybe. But we'll see.
So look, I mean, listen, we're gonna continue to have this conversation about Jalen Coker, and we can, whenever it comes up, we'll talk about it. But again, like I alluded to earlier, the implications of also what it means for Xavier Legette, it bears mentioning because of what I said earlier. Coker went undrafted in 23, and
Yep.
Xavier Legette was a first round pick in 23. And shout out to my boy Kev, White Chocolate
Yeah.
Espresso. He's already in the chat.
Yeah.
He's made that point to say that Bryce Young and Xavier Legette have probably the worst dynamic chemistry of any wide receiver on the team. Between him and any wide receiver, they're
Right.
never on the same page. When XL runs the proper route, Bryce will just miss him. Or when Bryce throws a perfect ball, XL is stepping out of bounds on what should have been an easy completion. A lot was made of this. So Bryce Young went down to the low country of South Carolina, and he was hanging out with Xavier Legette's people and riding four wheelers and riding horses. I'm sure it was a great time for him. But my question is, how much could this translate to the football field? Like, I know they're having fun, but is there any chance that Bryce Young and Xavier Legette can get on a better dynamic with one another so that way they can be more productive this season? Because,
Yeah,
like I mentioned last Tuesday, when I did meet Dave Canales, he brought up Xavier Legette unprompted and said that XL was the best receiver in OTAs. Now, this is before TMAC came back to practice, but Xavier Legette, as Pickle mentioned, he's dropped 10 pounds. He's taking this offseason very seriously. Is there any chance that Bryce and XL could get a better dynamic going forward this season and lead to better production? Or what does all of this mean for Xavier Legette when they pay the undrafted guy versus him, the guy they moved up for?
hey, so Cody, dude, the answer to your question is yes. It can help, dude, because chemistry is a funny thing, man. Like sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it comes naturally, and sometimes you have to work on it a little bit. And I think that can help. Sometimes like I hate all the coach speak I hear throughout the year or off seasons where it's like, well, we're doing this, we're doing that. To me, it's all just like wah 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 wah. well, because I want to see it on the field. But
Charlie Brown
Yeah.
teacher.
yeah, but the truth is, yeah, dude, sometimes chemistry, like two people can really connect in different ways. And this might be one of those where they're working on it, to where they can almost like, think each other's thoughts and know how they want to attack a play or a defense together. Dude, it can go a long way. It just, you have to have it though.
Right.
Yeah.
Xavier Legette said it himself in a quote. I listened to his press conference, and I understood everything he said. But he said, "I can't have another year like I did last year." He said that himself, and he's right. He can't. I mean, for his own career with the Panthers, he can't have another year like he did last year.
Here, look, I
And-
can. In fact, I can play that real quick, Pickle.
Right.
Just doing the little things that I gotta clean up. For just the mishaps that was happening last year, I can't let that happen again.
So cannot let the mishaps from last year happen again.
Exactly.
And I think we forget these are young guys. They're
Oh,
online,
absolutely.
man. They all know the
Yeah.
gang of shit that people
Oh.
talk about them.
Shout out to Princely Emma New Ellen. Is extremely active
nailed it.
online. He's very cool
Yeah.
to follow.
Yeah, Prince.
Or tell what you're gonna get when you get it. He obviously thinks Patrick Mahomes is overpaid. Obviously, he pretty much said it such.
He was trolling. He
Yeah.
was trolling.
But I know he was, but I'm a fan,
yeah.
so I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah. But I mean, and we've made this point too. There's a lot of competition now right on his heels. So
Oh,
not only
absolutely.
did they pay the undrafted guy, but they just drafted a 6'4" wide receiver who runs a 4.35, has a crazy catch radius, and he's coming for that spot too. He wants to be a guy that can be dependable in this offense. And I feel like Xavier Legette taking this serious and showing up like a man on fire, that is quite literally what is needed for him right now if he's going to save his career. Let me welcome in my bro, Jake the Snake, back on the
What's up,
free
Jake?
for all. Brother, what's up, dude? How
Kind
you
of looks
living,
like
man?
Cade Mays, man. It's like we got Cade Mays on the show.
Oh
Hey,
man.
can you play center,
Yeah.
bro? We might need you, dog.
Oh no, Sam Hicks got us, boys. Sam Hicks.
How's the
got
Yeah, he
us.
line?
does. Yeah, he does.
Hey
Jake,
man,
what's up, brother?
y'all-
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm glad to be on here, man. Chilling
I'm,
with y'all.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you ain't in the air. I know you're gonna go fly to Vegas and help your boys out.
No, I'm gonna be rocking Sunday, boys. I hope we get that win, man. That's why it's hard to be locked. It's hard to be locked in on the Panthers right now with what the Carolina Hurricanes doing right now. They're
listen.
one win away from holding up
Winning
that
the
cup,
whole
y'all.
thing. I'm
Mhm.
not. I'm not. A big hockey guy, but dude, even though I'm swept up, dude, I want
Yeah.
to see the fucking
Mhm.
Hurricanes bring it home for the Carolinas, man.
Yeah.
We need
Mhm.
that. Go Canes, baby. Hey,
Go Canes.
there is no natural ice in Las Vegas anyway, so the Golden
Right.
Knights don't deserve shit. So go Canes. And Jake, jumping on the convo, man. First, Jalen Coker, what do you make about us re-signing him, and what do you think that means for him in the offense this year, and the overall decision for Dave and the front office to sign him in general?
Oh, I mean, I'm happy for him, man. This needs to be done. I mean, we learned from past mistakes about getting these deals done early, and done right. I mean,
Yeah.
in the past we waited too long, and either guys walked away, or we had to trade them, or we had to overpay. So getting ahead of this, I mean, for it to be wide receiver 2 pay, I do not think we overpaid. If anything, I think it's almost an underpay, so to speak, or maybe just right. I think it's a just right deal for him. I mean, the dude hasn't had a drop pass in 2 years, which I didn't know that until yesterday. Dude has 0 drops in
That's
2 years.
insane.
It is, and it's
That's
big.
fucking insane.
Yeah. I'm happy for
Yeah.
him, though. I'm truly happy. I'm happy for his family. Y'all had his dad on the show, man. That was a great interview, by the way. His dad is amazing. He grew up a Panther fan. Coker's going to be with us for at least 3 years, so I'm super excited for him and the Panthers as an organization.
So his father, Jamal Coker, I found his number on my phone and I shot him a text message and I congratulated him on the big new contract for his son and his family. And he said, I appreciate that love as always, man. We're excited. When you have a guy who, like you guys have said, doesn't drop anything, literally ever, come on, dude, like this guy is him. And I think that it's a really important
Hey, didn't he
gesture to pay him.
didn't he grow up a Panthers fan too?
No,
No,
Coker actually grew
dude.
up a Saints fan.
Being up a
Didn't he?
Saints fan,
Yeah.
Wait,
dude.
I
The
thought I heard that.
receiver, the
No,
receiver
his
that he
dad.
modeled, the receiver that he modeled his game after was Michael Thomas.
Hmm.
Which, hey, if we get our very own Michael Thomas, I'm not complaining at all. You know, but I think Coker can run more than slants. I'll just leave it at
Hmm.
that. Um, but Jake, we're talking about XL. He was out there riding four wheelers with Bryce Young, and you know you have to tie him into all of this because when Coker was an undrafted free agent, we moved up in the first round to draft Xavier Legette. And they have not paid XL, but they have paid Coker. And they drafted a 6'4" wide receiver who runs the 3.5. And it's a very deep room. And Canales still loves him some David Moore, as Pickle already alluded to.
And Bryce loves Mitchie.
Yeah, right, exactly. So
And I am a certified David Moore fan.
everyone has their bromance. And dude, it's looking like XL right now could be the odd man out. What does this mean for Xavier Legette? And is there any chance that riding four wheelers in the low country of South Carolina can help their connection to be better on the field this year?
Man, I think it helps, to have that connection with your wide receiver room as a whole. With Bryce Young, your quarterback, I think it does help. But at the same time, I do think it's an uphill battle for him at this point. It just is. I mean, a really crowded wide receiver room, as y'all just mentioned, Chris Brazzell, Mechie. I think both of those guys are going to be really competing for that wide receiver 3 slot, and that's where I believe XL and company is at right now. I don't think it's going to be easy for him. I do think he's going to have to earn it. I think he's going to have to compete for it. Is it possible for him to get that spot and earn that spot? Yeah. But like I said, there's a lot of competition in that room, man. It really is.
Oh,
Yeah,
Cody, can I ask you a question?
no,
No.
April,
you just
April,
did.
or early June of next year, or May. I'm sorry, it's early May of next year.
Of next year?
Coker is due his 5th-year option. No,
You
I'm
mean
sorry,
XL?
Xavier Legette. Xavier Legette is due his 5th-year option. Do
Yeah.
you give him his 5th-year option? I'm about to look it up and see what it'll be. I mean,
Listen,
I would think right
I
now, I
think
wouldn't think you would. Go ahead.
so. Listen, I'll just be real with you. To me, if XL does not show himself to be something early at the start of this season, I think they might want to move on from him before the trade deadline, especially if they feel good about Brazel
Right.
or if they feel good about insert any number of guys here, Jimmy Horn Jr., David Moore, John Mechie, whoever. That I don't think that they are committed to holding on to something, especially when they might be able to get a little bit of value for him. So, but again, this conversation changes completely if he can prove himself this year. And if
Right.
Dave Canales, if everything that he told me was true and it wasn't just coach speak, then this whole organization has been very impressed with how XL has handled himself in the offseason. 10 pounds lighter, looks efficient. Again, I know I'm a broken record.
Mhm.
Canales told me himself that XL has looked like the best wide receiver they have this training camp. So if that's coach speak, I don't know. That's for y'all to decide. But I'm just relaying what was related to me. I do not think that Dave Canales and Dan Morgan, whenever they go up to the podium and they give Xavier Legette that vote of confidence, I don't think they're being disingenuous. I really think they believe that Xavier Legette can really be a special player in this offense, even if it hasn't happened to this point.
I mean, we
All
need him
right.
to work out though, right, Cody? I mean, we don't need to
Hell
have
yeah.
another failed wide receiver that we draft. I mean, we had too many of them. Maybe not first rounders, but I mean, I still include a second rounder. I mean, that's our early pick of. I mean, go back Terrence Marshall Jr. You go back, Jonathan Mingo. I don't want XL to be in that company. I really don't. I love his personality, but as we've said, alluded to, there's a lot of competition in that room.
Lots of competition. And man, there's lots of competition for the microphone on the free for all. Let me welcome some people in. Next up, we got my man JD holding it down in the beautiful Isles of Hawaii. JD, a Gamecock fan himself. I'm excited to hear his opinion on XL. JD, what's up, brother? How you living, man?
Hey man, I can't really be complaining. It wouldn't seem like the right thing to do right now. How y'all? How
Yes,
everybody else
sir.
doing, man?
I'm
Right,
living good,
right.
brother. Blessed and highly favored. How you living, man?
Hey man, I before I speak on XL as a resident Gamecock fan, I gotta like I was thinking it's funny like with Coker, man. Before the stat was put out that he had 0 drops, I was thinking like it's funny like you could probably put Coker on the sun and he'd find a way of catching the cold. Like he generally does not drop anything. I had the idea before. I was like, I don't remember him dropping anything. And then they come out with a stat like he's had 0 drops. Like
Yeah.
he deserved. Part of the reason why I don't have an issue with XL taking the time that he's. I believe that it's going to take time for XL to become the player that he could be. Part of the reason why they moved back into the first was to give him that time. But I agree with what you said, Reese, just a little while ago, Cody, about if he doesn't perform out the gate, like there's a level of stability he needs to come out the gate with for them to
Yeah.
even be considered it. And I'm saying this as an XL fan. Personally, I would say the same thing. Like, bro, you can't be having the mental mishaps and it's not all on him. Bryce and him do need to be on the same page, but for the parts that you can control, I ain't even worried about your contract. And again, we're talking about your career because I do believe that right now, being the XL fan that I am, he's on the outside looking in because they just gave Coker money. They gave Coker first round pick money. Like, hey, we gonna do right by you because you performed like we hoped XL would perform. So we gonna give you money according to what you're doing.
Yeah.
We've all seen that Coker hasn't put together a full season. XL, on the other hand, he's been available. There've been the issues, but then you look at how they built the rest of the team up, and that's the business aspect of the NFL. And this is again reason why I'm hoping for the best for XL, because even in the chance that on the chance that he starts the season off rocky, but he gets better and closes out strong, and then you're talking about year 4 for him, year 5. The writing will probably already be on the wall at that point. If he doesn't come out the gate this year and have a solid season for, if this is year 4, year 3 for XL, that would be year 4, 5th-year option would probably, if he has 2 solid seasons, they'll probably give him his 5th-year option. Come out shaky. If he comes out shaky, it doesn't matter if he gets better. They're probably looking to move on from him. And the crazy thing is, XL could come out and ball, and they could still trade him because you have Brazzle and you have the wide receiver. Personally, if you're talking about doing what's best for the team, you might want, and I'm saying this for everybody who can't stand XL, root for him. Hope that XL balls out because if he gets traded, you see what Morgan and company are doing with these picks. Like, it's a win-win for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, and what I said earlier too was I love what it shows to the whole team in general, that whenever you ball out for this team, they will reward you. Even if you're an undrafted free agent, man, he has come out of the gate and meant something to this team. So the fact that they rewarded him for that, and I like that they paid him a little bit early, because if he does ball out again this year, then that price is just going to go up and up. To me, it was a very prudent deal for him to make. Hey, real quick, let me welcome in Vegas Drew. Vegas, hey, bro, you better be pulling for the Canes, bro. I don't know what your NHL affiliation is, dog, but this is a Hurricanes podcast right now, boy.
Gotta tell you, I never was a hockey fan until that first year here with the Knights, and it was so much damn fun. I can imagine how fun it is over there. Although, yes, I don't know how many are in Raleigh, but like, I'm definitely a Knights fan, but I'm not. I'm not anti-Carolina though, so I'm like,
hi Vegas Drew.
Bye,
Later,
Yeah,
man.
Vegas.
y'all wish,
How's it going?
y'all wish
Happy
him
Friday.
a happy Friday. Bro, see you later. This
Yeah,
is
you can fuck
Kane's
right off.
country, bro.
Fuck you very
Yeah,
much.
Oh,
yeah.
You don't have to
Go
go, but you
Canes,
can't
baby.
stay here.
No, bro, be nice to you, bro. Vegas, what's up, man? How you been, brother?
Oh, good old stuff, man. You know how it goes.
I hear you, man.
Yep.
Talk a little
Uh,
bit about Coker and then Xavier Legette and him being on this, on the hot seat this year. But talk a little bit about Coker first. What did you make of him paying him, us paying him that new contract?
Well, for Coker, I think it's like an inevitable thing. Like we were gonna pay him. Is just come down to like how much extent like that. What kind of benefits they're gonna give. You know, if there's base salary, X, Y, Z, all that stuff. I think he's 100% worth it. The only thing that really, I think he could have even made more money if he would have had like, and his injuries are not anything that are like major, but he's just been like soft tissue, first few years. It could just be one of those things where your body's still adjusting to the NFL. Hopefully it's one of those things now this year he has a full season. If he has a full season, like he played the last, 5-6 games, like he'll have a good season. He reminds me a little bit of Gabe Davis for the Bills. I hope it's not in the same vein of that. Is that all of a sudden he started having he had a playoff game where he just balled out. I mean, Davis had like 200 some yards and 3 touchdowns, but Coker had a solid game. And you just look at that and you're like, oh man, this guy has so much promise. We just got to hope. The Gabe Davis went on to get injured, but hopefully he has that breakout year and it's almost like the 49ers drafting Mr. Irrelevant and getting him at the end. You doubled up on quarterbacks. Now that first round wasted pick that you did when you got Trey Lance super early doesn't look as dumb. So it's the same thing almost with XL where it kind of covers that up a little bit because you hit on undrafted. Like you found a gem in there, even if XL's not exactly horrible. Like I think people kind of have kicked him to the curb. He's shown that he's almost the exact opposite of XL. Healthy most of the time, just inconsistent hands, shows elite athleticism. On the other hand, you have Coker, who's just dude's just solid. Like he just catches the ball. He's always in the right spot. Like he's almost like a tight end. What they say when you have that security blanket. Coker's always in the right spot, and it's nice to have him and TMAC that they're always in the right spot. That's why I think you've seen the role of XL shrink, even with a rookie. Like he just is never in the right spot. When he's in the right spot, he overstrides, steps out of bounds. He makes so many bonehead mistakes that at the end of the day, he's still a really good talent. And I think he still has the opportunity to be successful if he hits or, Brazel hits and Coker still has his, that's what I thought, buddy. Coker has his usual games or his usual season. Then I think they just move on from him one way or another or try to package him somehow.
Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah, go ahead.
His fifth year option, which let's be fair, this year, this past June or May rather, this past May they awarded Bryce the 5th-year option. They have to do it a year in advance. So next year, and in late April, early May, they'll have to award Xavier Legette his 5th-year option. And if my understanding, and I'm looking this up, his 5th-year option should be at or near $18 million. So, if you take
I think that's
that
why they traded up for him too. They traded up for him so they could have those.
Oh, they did.
Year
But
control.
they did. But when they traded up, they didn't realize what receiver they were going to get out of Jalen Coker. That's why this re-signing and the drafting of TMAC the very next year is so prevalent. And they drafted Chris Braswell this year. So all these things go together. Xavier Legette really has to have a breakout year for him to get that 5th-year option, I think.
That's part of the reason why I was saying earlier. I don't know if I actually made a point while I was speaking, but I think the writing is kind of already on the wall. Like as a Legette fan, I think I think they'll give him his 5th-year option if he deserves it. But they'll be doing so with the intent of helping. It's like mutually beneficial. The better
Right.
he plays, the more opportunity he genuinely earns, the better he looks on the field, the more you can actually get for him in a trade. I think, for one, them signing Coker, paying Coker the way that they paid Coker, drafting Brazel away, and for the skill set that he possesses, I don't even want to say he's a 1-to-1 copy of XL. Looking at the young man's college film, and I don't mean no insult to any of the players. You could argue that he's a more refined version of what XL was coming out of college. I as a fan of XL's coming out and then watching what that young man did on his film, the high point, he's much more fluid in his movements, and it seems to be something that they are finding with all the receivers they're bringing in. Nalo is a very fluid route runner. Coker, funny enough, I was watching Coker's highlights, and I feel like Coker is a weird way of the comparison I'm trying to make is Coker plays with the same intensity that Steve Smith had when he was on the field, but Coker has a much bigger body, and it made me it was like it gave me goosebumps kind of thought, because if Coker is on the field what Steve Smith was with the intensity, and he's a bigger receiver, and Steve Smith played bigger than what he was, and if you got a dude who is doing what he's doing as an undrafted free agent, obviously he earned what the money that he just got paid. With Canales and the coaching staff being the way that they are, the best situation or best case scenario for everybody involved, and with what I believe is already, again, the writing I believe is already on the wall. They both they're preparing to move on from XL if he doesn't pan out. If he does,
but can we also too? I mean, JD, but you made something pop up in my mind too. Like, this organization deserves a lot of development, or deserves a lot of credit for how they developed Coker. Like, to actually believe in him. They've had guys that were ahead of Coker, and then Coker fought for a spot and got that spot and then ran with it. Even though they had XL out there, then even when they had TMAC, they still found ways to get Coker the ball. I think, not only do we need to give Dan Morgan kudos for bringing him here, but to give the whole organization as a whole the kudos they deserve for giving him the opportunity to show that the dude can ball. That, you mentioned JD, he is bigger than Steve Smith. He's 6'2", every bit of 220. Like, the guy is another physical presence on the field. It's one of the things that I said to Dave Canales. I will never let y'all live that down. That I talk to Dave Canales. I'm just letting y'all know that now. But the fact that I told him, man, y'all built a basketball team at wide receiver. Like, all of our receivers are huge. Like, we have the Monstars at wide receiver for Bryce Young. And I think that's great because they have such an incredible skill set. I do think that we need to commend this organization for how they developed Jalen Coker. JD, I'll let you finish. I'm going to introduce Mike.
Oh wow, that's pretty much all I was trying to get at. Is I think the writing is on the wall for XL, and for that reason, for his career, and I forget. I think Pickle might have been the one who was saying it. We do all need to remember that these, like, I myself I'm like, I'm 13, 14 years older than the average NFL rookie this season. These dudes are literally, like, I can actually refer to these rookies as young men because of my age gap with them. So
yeah,
I saw, again, being a Gamecock fan, I watched XL. It took him 4 or 5 years. It took him a while at South Carolina. I believe that they moved back into the first, believing that it might take him a while to become the player he can be in the NFL. I often refer to it, or a statement that I'm starting to adopt is, if a player's taking, like, not to turn the conversation to Jonathan Brooks, but Jonathan Brooks is coming off of injury that's kept him from playing for the past 2 seasons. So when you start talking about what he could be or what your expectations are, when I start speaking about it, I simply look at what he was in college. And I'm starting to do that for every player now.
Yeah.
With Excel, can you be what got you drafted? Can you come this season? Can you step out onto the football field and can you consistently show what got you drafted? Because that'll get you paid. If all you can be in the NFL is what got you drafted, that shit will get you paid. Excel, because at South Carolina, he was a big play waiting to happen. When you needed a play made, it was Rattler connecting with Excel on something. It could be he was a damn good receiver in college, and it's like, bro, where did that go? Okay, so maybe not everything working for you. Find your niche. Find where you can get out on the field, and when the ball comes your way, that's the part of it that he can control. When it hits you in the hand, I personally want to say, like, Nalo, I wouldn't be shocked if this year Nalo didn't have any drops. Like, his drops last season were like, you just didn't look it in. You got excited about what you were about to do.
Yeah,
You didn't
well,
look it
we're gonna get to Nalo because Nalo's a whole nother story that we have to talk about. It's a question I want to ask everyone on the panel too.
Yes, sir.
But hold that thought, JD. Because let me get Mike in, and then we're gonna go to Nalo next, right after this. Michael Wedrick back on the free for all. Good to see you, brother. What do you make of Jalen Coker's extension? And what do you think about what this means for Xavier Legette this season? What's up, Mike?
What's up, Cody? What's up, fellas? How you guys doing? Apparently, I feel like this is a good thing for Coker to get the extension that he deserves. Now for XL, to make it short, he needs to come out here and compete for a roster spot. Because if he starts turning out to become the same player that he was like a couple years ago when we drafted him, if not worse than that, then by all means he should be on the team. But that's a different discussion for a different day. But I would like to throw another player out there if I may. David Moore, I feel like he shouldn't be on the roster because of his injury last season. So that's my curiosity on that, but I want to. That's all I got to say about that.
Dude, I don't think Moore should be on the roster because he's not that good.
Tell that to Dave Canales. Dave Canales, those are fighting words, Christian.
Yeah, but that's a utility player, man. I just don't get it, man. You have all this talent ahead of him.
No, I agree with you, Christensen. But
you too,
David Moore's completely recovered from his injury he had last year. He played at the end of last season, actually. If David Moore doesn't make the roster, and I think he will, it won't be because of the injury. I think David Moore so far in OTAs has looked really good, and they ended yesterday was the last day of OTAs. So he's looked really good. Bryce throws to him as much as he throws to everybody else. Bryce likes David Moore, throws to him quite often. And I used to be a David Moore hater, and I kind of say that in jest, but we fans might have to suck up and accept David Moore because he apparently ain't going anywhere.
I heard you're the new president of the David Moore fan club, Pickle.
Well, that's what I said a while ago.
That's his favorite player. That's his favorite. This is on the whole 53-man roster.
Listen, like I said, it's reverse psychology. If I cheer for David Moore a lot more than I have been, they always like to go opposite of what I say. So
put that voodoo on the Pickle. So listen, let's talk about. We've talked about Coker. Congrats to Coker and his family. We've talked about XL. He knows that he's on the hot seat. Let's talk about our number one. Let's talk about Tanaroa McMillan. And listen, this video is from April when he wasn't practicing. So he's put on even more weight now. But it's been a big story that TMAC has put on 17 pounds of muscle and weight coming into this season. And I think there is a discussion to be had about if this is a good thing. Does this hinder his speed a little bit too much? But this was his justification when asked about this at the end of April.
Just getting my strength
Sorry if it's a little low. This is just the audio we
and
have.
my power back. People don't know, but my rookie year was the same. I was the same weight my rookie year than I was my freshman year at college. So, I wasn't used to playing that small. I felt pretty weak, and then it didn't have my power back. So that was pretty much the main focus this off season for me.
Now, did you do most of that through diet, strength training, and how were you able to kind of, I guess, retain your speed while putting on the weight?
I mean, the weight that I'm at now is what I'd normally been at in college. So kind of just used to it. Got my power back, which allows me to be faster, stronger. So, my focus was more in the weight room, strength, diet, and stuff like that.
Thank you.
One more question.
Good morning, TMAC. Thanks for doing this. We just wanted to follow up on that. What would you say you played at, most of the last season, and what are you weighing now?
Shoot, I played at like 205, and
And
now
what's ideal?
shoot, I'm used to walking around like 215, 220.
220. So he wants to play at 220 pounds. And essentially, he's already there because he put on 17 pounds. So if you do the math, that's more than 220. And I think that there is an interesting question to be had here. T-Mac as a wide receiver, even coming out of Arizona, wasn't known as a burner. He's not a speedster. He's the contested catch guy. He's big, he's strong, he's going to bully the corner at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to go up and he's going to make that contested catch. Does this give any of you any pause that maybe this takes away from his speed even more? Or do you just fall in line with what he said that he didn't feel very strong out there? Everybody's big in the NFL. He wanted to have a little more body mass on him. Do you think this is a good thing? And is there any reason to have pause about if this is good or not? Whoever wants to jump on it, jump on it.
I would say I defer to the player in this situation because if he feels better at that weight, he's likely going to play better at that weight. In addition to, I feel like there were two paths T-Mac could take in regards to the receiver he's going to become. I said it earlier. There's a smoothness to his route running that a 6'4", 6'5" receiver doesn't normally have. I personally feel like it's very Justin Jefferson-esque, but if he's putting on weight, I think he's going to go more of the Mike Evans route and try to and literally just lean more into his physique, being taller, being stronger, being able to body guys. Which, going back to Canales' or the analogy you used when speaking to Canales about building a basketball team, if I'm not mistaken, coming out of college, they talked about Bryce being a point guard, compared him to Steph Curry. And regarding how he plays the quarterback position. And I believe we've seen Bryce play very much into that role. So I don't think there's anything wrong with T-Mac deciding that he's going to play the position of center, power forward, if you will, and say, hey, I'm going to just body these motherfuckers if I got to. Again, if he didn't feel strong enough out there, I personally don't think it's going to take away from his game. He's still fairly young, so I think the fluidity in which he runs his routes, the smoothness, it'll be there. You probably really ain't going to notice. I would say, if anything, you're probably not going to notice anything about his weight for another 5-10 years in regard if he's able to stay healthy. Like I really do believe he'll take the Mike Evans route in regards to his career. Hopefully, he's able to stay healthy and do something similar to what Evans was able to do, right? Every year, 1,000 yards, and be a Carolina Panther through it all.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, I'm not a big wrestling fan, but bro, it looks like he's about to walk out on Monday Night Raw with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, bro. Like, homeboy is looking strong. You know what I mean? He got the
Okay, relax,
shoulders.
Cody. Calm
I
down,
mean,
buddy.
Respect, no, Christian,
you
you
know what I mean?
respect
This
your
is a
tribal
family
chief.
show.
Yeah, respect the
Respect your
tribal
tribal
chief.
chief.
Hey, I'm
This
gonna
is
tell y'all
our
right now.
tribal chief.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Being out here on the island, if y'all see these people in person with the islanders that rock those tattoos and they're able to explain to you the meaning. It's like, because each line, each tattoo got a reason, got a meaning behind it all. The
Yeah, that's
women,
awesome. I love that,
bro,
bro.
the way that the women carry themselves is like you talking about the whole Uso, and they look like they about to fuck something up even when they being polite.
Yeah, I love that, man. I do
They
love that
cover
we
the
have
night.
that.
Hey,
I
I'm
love that
telling
we
you,
have that.
I'm from South Carolina. Like, I grew up in the South. There's a way that Southerners talk to you and approach you, and I can tell you that love that's out here, like that the island as a whole. That's how they approach people. So, like, I'm saying this from personal experience. I done had some cats walk up on me 6'4", 6'5", same tattoos, shit up on their face, and I don't fear nobody but God. But I'm standing there. If I gotta fight this dude, I gotta go for the knee.
Yeah,
I gotta have something in my hand.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, man. No, no. I love the physicality that he brings. Go ahead, Christian. What were you gonna say?
Well, just to answer your question, man, my thinking is that yeah, it's going to affect his speed a little bit. I mean, there's a reason why he dropped that weight for the combine so that he can get better numbers, but it's not going to. I think the benefits you get out of a carrying more weight, being able to use your body more, feeling stronger, feeling confident, like JD was saying, I think that's going to just be more valuable than any speed you might lose. Plus, he's not the type that he was never. That just fits his game more. He's not gonna. You don't need the speed. The what? Half a second faster or a second faster in the 40,
Right.
just to it says that he's not gonna beat anyone over the top on a regular basis. So I like that he put on more weight. Personally,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like the idea that he put on what it fits him. He was never going to be a speed guy anyway. We knew that when we drafted him. So, do what you got to do for yourself and how it fits you to play better. If they wanted a speed guy, they wouldn't have took him. They knew that going in. So,
But dude,
I
for someone who isn't a speed guy, dude, look how
yeah,
he
he can
moves and
move. He
look at
can
this
still move.
break right here, man. Like,
Right.
dude, he's got those ankles. He's
Right.
strong.
And a lot of it, Cody, let's be fair. If you ask a lot of former players, they'll all tell you that wide receivers don't need speed to become elite. If
Right.
if the only way that you can get open is to outrun everybody, then you're not really a true wide receiver.
What
I,
didn't it?
I,
Wasn't it Jerry Rice who famously ran like a 4.64 or something?
yep.
Who am I thinking? Was it Jerry Rice?
It may have
Yeah,
been.
like
Yeah,
he
Jerry Rice is
wasn't.
one of them.
Yeah, he wasn't like some super burner type of
No,
guy. So no,
no.
that's true.
the receivers that's playing today. I always I feel like the best way to convey my excitement and expectations for the players that are on the Carolina Panthers team is to compare them to players that are actively balling. It would be easy to look at look at Coker and say, oh, Coker should be like Puka, Nakua. But when I look at Coker and the way he plays, obviously I already said that Panther wise, his
What's up, Panther
attitude,
Brett?
like the
Panther?
attitude in which Coker plays with reminds me of Steve Smith. Like, there's a nastiness to him, and I didn't really see it until I went back and watched the highlights. There is a nastiness to how Coker plays. After he catches the ball, it looks like he's trying to find somebody to put a body on. Like, he's looking to hurt somebody, and it could just be my imagination. But
No, I'm sorry,
ahead.
DJ. No,
No, go ahead.
I compare Coker to DJ Moore, not really Steve Smith. But I understand your comp. I
I've
do.
always compared the way he plays to Devontae Adams, because like
Right.
Devontae, he's
that.
not like a super athletic. He's gonna burn you, but he's mastered. There's a clip of him talking to Shannon Sharp, and he's talking about how he can run. He's run, I think, a comeback, like a 10-yard. He saw I can run that route 3 times in the game, and on this one play, you play it, the cornerback plays it perfectly, and he's right there. But he's like, right now, I'm gonna just break off and make you think it was a double move, and I'm gonna throw my arms up. So now that's in the
Yeah.
back of your head. Stuff
Yep.
like that makes Devontae Adams like easily, arguably one of the best receivers in the league. And I don't think dude's gotten any faster. It's probably like again refined his process. But when I'm watching Coker, that's really when I tell people that the Carolina Panthers don't have a number 1 and a number 2, they don't have a number 1, they don't have a 1A and a 1B. When I look at what Coker has done when he's been on the field as a healthy receiver, you can't tell me that Bryce didn't kind of show you last year when Coker was healthy, even with McMillan on the field. Coker took over. He was showing like, hey, I don't give a fuck that I'm the undrafted free agent. If you're going to put your best corner on McMillan, whoever the fuck you got covering me can't cover me. And if you bring your best corner over to Coker, do you really want to leave number 2, number 3 on McMillan?
Yeah,
we ain't even talking about
it's
our
a
tight ends.
nightmare scenario. It's a nightmare
What?
scenario for opposing
Hey, I'm gonna
defenders.
say this and I'm gonna be quiet. Don't let me get my wish. Captain America, do not let Evans become the tight end that I think he can become. Do not let the
All
Carolina
right.
Panthers get a fuck. Don't let, because I want that name to stick. I'm fully explaining the reason why I keep calling
Captain
him Captain
America.
America is because Chris Evans, and that's the only way I can remember his last name is Evans.
Evans.
So I'm like, fuck it. His name's Captain America.
Yep. Mitchell, Captain America Evans. I like it. Hold that thought, Pickle. Let me get Jake in on this. Jake, do you feel like 17 pounds is too much? Do you think that'll take anything away from TMAC, or is this just a good thing? Like, is this Super Saiyan TMAC?
No, I think this is a great thing. I mean, like y'all said, I just he never was known to be a speed guy anyways coming out of college. I mean, he was never that 4.3, 4.4 flat kind of guy. He's known to be the bigger guy, the guy that can out muscle the corner, can out catch the corner going up for the ball. I mean, that's what he's been known for. That's the type of wide receiver he is. He is Mike Evans S type wide receiver. This is not a Kelvin Benjamin situation where Kelvin Benjamin literally ate himself into a tight end body. You don't have to worry about this with Nalo. This
Yeah.
Nalo does not look fat, y'all. Even a
No.
recent interview, the dude does not look fat. You could tell that he gained a little bit of weight, but muscle, man, I see muscle. I don't see fat.
The thing I push back against with, because when I look at Nalo, it's not speed like what everyone is saying. He didn't come out of college as a burner. He wasn't running a 4.3 or 4.4. It's not his speed, and that's part of the reason why I don't think him putting on 17 pounds of muscle is going to mess with him. It's the smoothness in which he runs his routes. I forget who. It was another former NFL player that I heard say it. They said that they run it might have been Devontae Adams again. He said that he runs every route. His intent with every route that he runs is to set it up and make it look like the same thing. McMillan has a smoothness to his route. So when he's like whatever route he's running, he has a smoothness to him that a 6'4", 6'5" receiver should not have. So when he goes out the gate, he's already at a full sprint. When he goes into his break, it's not too much of a slow up because he's smooth with how he's moving. The corner, a lot of corners cannot cover the dude. So then when you get into a jump ball situation, because you did play the route properly, 6'4", 6'5", he can go up over you. If he runs his route the way that he normally runs his route, he's going to get away from you because of how smooth he's running that route. Not because, he's super fast. And I think it's the same thing with Coker. Hell, even Excel. We've seen Excel be able to kill cats with his route running. Excel's done himself in with dropping the balls when they come his way. Yeah. But again, I keep saying this. Even Jimmy Horn Jr., I feel like that's a receiver a lot of people have forgotten about because there's a skyscraper 6'4", 6'3", 6'3".
Well, it's going to be hard for Jimmy Horn.
I think so.
With
Frazzle.
I know, but I'm just saying though, when you have John Mechie, now he's probably on the outside looking in, and you have David Moore, and you have Chris Brazzell. Like, there's only so many receiver spots that we're going to go into the season with. So, that's why this training camp is really going to be interesting. We'll go Pickle, and then we get Drew in after Pickle.
Okay, first of all, a lot of our corners in our division are only 5'10", and but I'm gonna say something about Jimmy Horn Jr. and it's my opinion, and Jake probably knows what I'm going to say, but I believe Jimmy Horn Jr. isn't going to make it because he's only 5'8". And let me explain why I say that. Okay. A lot of this has to do with Bryce, and it's not a cut down. So hear me out. It's not a cut on Bryce. So hear me out. Okay. If you think about what the 40 Brock Purdy said, that he has trouble seeing quarterbacks, or he doesn't normally see all his receivers, and he's only 6 foot, so he doesn't see all his receivers at a given play, and he'll often throw the ball where they're supposed to be. That's why it's imperative for them to run exact routes. Now, that being said, I watched a lot of tape because Jimmy Horn Jr. did play on a lot of first and second and third downs, especially later in the season, but he didn't get any catches. So I was thinking, well, why? So I got on some heavy tape where I have NFL Plus. So I went to NFL anyway. There's a website you can go to if you got Plus, and I could watch him in them downs. I believe, legitimately speaking, Bryce just never saw Jimmy. And not a cut down to Jimmy, not a cut down at all. And maybe it would help Jimmy if he played maybe running back, because
So let me translate for
maybe
you,
a lot of
Pickle.
gadget.
A shorter quarterback probably
I
does
mean,
need some taller wide receivers.
yes, exactly. And that may be why they've reverted to getting a lot of taller receivers. And I love Jimmy. I like Jimmy. Jimmy is excellent in Madden. I mean, he is. I like Jimmy, but bottom line is, I have to wonder. Now, let's be real though, y'all. And you a lot of you suddenly going to say, well, why don't nobody? Come on, y'all. Canales ain't going to tell y'all the reason why Jimmy ain't getting his catches. He can't going to say, well, Jimmy's too short. He's just shorter
Well,
than our
he's not
quarterback.
exactly
They're
popping
not going to
off the
say that.
sheets either.
Huh?
He's
I'm
not
sorry.
exactly like jumping out. His gameplay is not showing that. Oh, we have to start this guy. Like, I don't have a problem with Jimmy.
Right.
Or I just like he's just
Right.
What does he do
Yeah,
so
yeah.
well?
I mean,
Like he should like at least like try to return punts or something. Like
right now,
he
I
just
agree with that.
is.
And
I
that
wish
right
they would have
there,
done that way more with them
yeah,
last
yeah.
year.
That
They
Yeah,
that
we
really
should
that right
have.
there is a coaching issue. To me,
I,
that's a coaching issue.
I
Yeah.
just
I
wanted
really don't have an answer why you don't, especially when and Jake, what's the running back or third string running
ETN, yeah,
back?
ETN.
Yeah, I
Which
always
Man,
we
forget his
ETN
found
is
name.
out.
just a
Yeah,
Yeah,
fumble waiting
yeah,
to happen.
yeah. So when he started
And
fumbling
in
a
the
little bit
playoff
and Horn
game
was
too,
active, I'm like,
just
well, put
brutal,
Horn out there
man.
and see what he can do. And they just
Yeah.
wouldn't do it.
I
And
was
I'm like,
I've
Uh,
always preferred a wide receiver
right.
return
And
over a running back.
every time Canales talks about Jimmy Horn, he refers to the fact that he's so little, I don't want to hurt him. So is it an issue that Canales
damn.
subconsciously talks about that? I mean, and like I said, this is not a hate on anybody, but by taking what Brock Purdy said, you
But haven't there
comparing
been
it to
little
the folks
return
on
guys
our
in the
roster.
past before that have been very
Oh yeah, yeah.
successful?
And I mean, Steve
Yeah.
Smith was an excellent return guy, and back then was I think about the same size as him was.
Yeah, but
I
I
don't
think
have an
Steve
issue
was
with it
probably a
myself.
little bit.
He
Yeah,
has
I
to
think
also
Steve
show the
is
ability to
probably.
like what Steve
It
Smith
may
is.
be route
He
running as
popped
well.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Like
did. He did. And
like
Steve
if
Smith
you
had
Jimmy
it
Horn, you're just not there yet. His skills aren't
right.
there yet, and he's not going to
And
get there
now,
without time. So
yeah, let's be fair. When Steve Smith entered the league, they told him that's all he was. So
I,
that
I,
they told him that's all he
and
ever will be.
that's what
So
I'm kind of saying, Pickle. I agree with you because then like his gameplay, his practice, like made it
right,
undeniable. Like we got to give this guy a shot. Like he's just you burning
exactly. We got to get
everybody.
the ball in his hands. You
Hey,
know. So
I'm just interjecting so it just dawned on me. I think this might be the first time that I've been on the C3 Panthers. Been on the podcast since I've been subscribed to C3. I think this might be the first time where you can legitimately go through from roster spot 1 to the final roster spot and have a actual conversation about each player and whether or not they, because we, for the most part,
Yeah.
we know who the top 40, say 45 players are.
right.
There is an actual conversation that can be had about the remaining spots and who should get them. And then when you look
Right.
at the players that should or are fighting for those spots, how many of those guys might go to other teams and actually be a few years back? if we were talking about a Jimmy Horn Jr. or we were talking about a David Moore, we were talking about these guys because they would be the second, they might be the number one receiver on the roster going into the season. We're at a point now where we having heated conversations about receivers 4, 5. Are we gonna carry 6 receivers because hey, this tight end, we got 4 tight ends, but then that 5th tight end he could, and then the run. We could actually have a conversation about every player that's right now on the roster and whether or not they should be on. Like that's is.
Y'all
Yeah,
are
I'm really hoping
probably-
that we don't hold on to David Moore. Like to me,
But
he reminds me so much of remember when it was Matt Rule and he
That's the
had
thing,
some
though.
love affair with PJ Walker. And we had to keep
That's the
that
thing, though.
dude for some
We've
god awful
seen-
reason. He got every chance in the world.
Carl
PJ
Hankton.
Walker Wonder.
Who
We've
knows the
seen
name
more.
Carl Hankton?
We've seen more on the field, and we've seen David Moore on the field. We've seen Bryce be able to connect with David Moore.
But I mean, like I feel like he's got something
It-
out against Canales. I don't know how he just like he puts him on every team he's been on.
Think about it though. Is it the worst thing on the planet if David Moore is on the roster? Who are probably the 4 or 5 receivers ahead of him?
I used to say it would be, but you know, I kind of take a step back and because as much as I was against David Moore is that guy that as the head coach you want on your roster. He'll do anything you ask him to do. He
He's
don't
a
whine
coach
or cry
that's
or
able to
bitch
put on
about it.
pads.
Yeah, he won't cry or bitch or whine about it. You
He's
tell
gonna
him
end up
go out
taking a
there
spot of
and
like
play
a
special
younger,
teams.
more talented,
Well,
better like
you know
ceiling
what?
player.
But then
that's the
it's
part
up
that I
to the
don't like.
younger, talented guy to step up and do the job.
Right, but that is the part that I don't like though, because to me it gets to the point, and this is just the truth. Not every player on the team is going to get the same kind of opportunity, even if they're deserving of it. So, do we know for a fact that Jimmy Horn couldn't do everything that David Moore has been asked to do? I don't know. We don't know. I mean, this is something that only the coaches are ever going to be able to dictate. But I also think, Bryce Young has also depended on David Moore a couple times too, where he feels comfortable targeting him when necessary. And I feel like the trust factor isn't something that's been built up with a lot of these other guys yet. That's why it's going to be so interesting to see what Chris Brazel, the rookie, is able to do in this offense this year.
Well, I think it's one of those things of being a coach. Like I remember, I coached too, and I feel like every coach has that player that no one else thinks is any good, but you just like they either work their butt off or they like do everything you say to a T, and they know they're not going to screw it up. And I feel like that's what David Moore is to Canales.
Yeah,
It's like a dude that he knows he's going to do what he tells him to do. But I think he's at that point where he's starting to wear out his usefulness. Where I think having a veteran wide receiver that could show all the young guys, like I think our guys aren't that point now where they need someone to hold their hand and kind of tell them what to do. So
Drew,
opinion. Like, he'll probably still keep him.
Drew, let me stay on you real quick. Did you answer the TMAC thing? Do you like that TMAC has, put on 17 pounds? Do you think that'll be good overall for his game this year? Do you think he will benefit from that? Drew, did that?
Oh, what'd you say? Sorry, I thought that was someone else.
No, I was talking to you, man. What did you make of T-Mac putting on all that weight in the offseason, that 17 pounds of bulk? Do you think that'll hinder him in any way, or do you think that it's a good thing that he did that?
No, I think it's a positive. It's a positive if it's because I know some people that have put on weight and then they try to move and react the same way they did when they were heavier. And sometimes it takes a toll on your joints and tendons and shit. So if it's muscle and it's not just to show that you've gained more weight, if it's like, usable, then it's a good thing. Because he's, like you said, everybody's saying he's not a guy relying on technically on speed. Although he's not slow, he's got good game speed. But I think having more weight gives him better chance of catching at like the point of attack. He goes up, these smaller guys will bounce off of him. So it's a positive. Like I have
no, you're right. I do think it's a positive too. It just depends. As you said, does he carry that weight well? Does he move well? So far, all of the OTA clips, he's looked dynamic. He looks like he can cut. Let me go to Michael Wydrick. Michael, you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think about TMAC putting on almost 20 pounds of weight, dude?
Um, you know what? I'm gonna have to agree with what Vegas Drew just said. It depends on how he uses that weight to his ability to move around in the receiver uh territory that he's in. I hope that he can move perfectly and excellently um move around as I would say. Because yeah, like if he's not able to move around as much as people would like to make it out to be, my chances are he should have stuck at 215. Because that was his good weight limit that he was at. But if he can carry around 220, hey, by all means, do what you got to do, dude. There ain't no arguments from me, but you just got to make sure that you got to be able to
Yeah.
run your routes smoothly, and you got to be able to execute your catches, and you got to execute everything on the field that we need to expect from you every Sunday.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, overall, I'm hopeful. Like I said, he is a jump ball wide receiver, and you are going to depend on him to win those contested catches situations.
And,
So,
and an,
so I like this.
I was going to
Go
touch
ahead,
one
Jake.
more. I was going to say
Yeah,
one thing we didn't mention either, though, is like I think adding that extra weight is actually going to help him absorb hits because you know how them safeties be out there trying to
yeah,
lead with that shoulder tackle. So I think that's
yeah,
going to definitely benefit him absorbing some of them tougher hits.
yeah. No, absolutely. No, that's 100%. Hey, I did want to bring this up to y'all, and y'all just jump on it, whoever wants it. They're saying that Kim Kwanu is making excellent progress, and that they're expecting to see him play this season. Where the hell is Kim Kwanu playing on this team this season? Is he a backup left tackle? Is he ahead of Monroe Freeling? Is he
He's a
behind
backup
Taylor
somewhere.
Moton? Is he a guard? I don't know. I've said this till I'm blue in the face. I want to see the man play left guard. I have
Me too.
always felt that that's where he was better suited. I'll start with you, Christian. Where do we see Kim
Well, I'm there.
Kwanu this year, if we see him at all?
I have no clue, man. I don't know. I mean, unless someone gets injured, let's assume nobody gets injured. I have no idea where you play him at. I mean, maybe the coaches would decide to play him at left tackle instead of Freeling or
Fullback.
Rasheed Walker. I have honestly, dude, I'm stumped
Uh,
on this one.
I would use him. I've said this before. I would use him as a backup, just wherever I can, and including practice. I would line him up. Listen. At any given game, an offensive lineman's going to get tired. They just are. So when Lewis comes out, put Akeem out at left guard. A few plays later, maybe Lewis comes back. He's fine. And then Hunt said, "Hey, I need a breather. We'll put him over there. Put him at right tackle a little bit."
Yeah,
That's how you
yeah.
see if he can handle one or two snaps. He ain't going to handle long term. But here's the thing we need to remember. I've seen players who can't pass block line up at other spots. It doesn't help their pass blocking. Imani Silatolu was bad on the outside and the inside. So was Byron Bell. That's just fact of it. So moving Icky inside will help your running game, just like having him outside, but it will not help his passing game. That's just going to make, if you put him on left guard, it's just going to make Monroe Freely feel, or whoever's lined up at guard or excuse me, left tackle, feel they have to do more when Icky starts. It's pushing Icky out of the way or pushing a left guard who can't pass block is just a quicker route to the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's all.
Go ahead, Jake.
I'll be honest with you. I'm right there with you, Cody. I think he should have been a guard, brother. I think Daniel Jeremiah. I think he was the one that said it when we drafted or coming into the draft. They said that this man's an
Yeah.
all-pro at guard. Coming out of the
Yeah.
draft now, This dude ain't even took a snap in the NFL yet, and I'm pretty sure it was Daniel Jeremiah, but said this man is an All-Pro at guard.
Yeah.
I believe he is Robert Hunt's replacement at right guard. And as I would agree with Pickle too, like he is bad in the pass protection, but I think when you're a guard instead of the outside being a tackle, I think you can anchor yourself a lot better in the inside. So I think it would benefit him a lot more to be a guard.
And you know what really just frustrates me, Jake? That we've never given him the opportunity in all of his years here to do that, to actually play that guard position and just play bully ball and get aggressive on the interior because now this is what we're hoping for, right? Because I thought about that too. What happens if we do, either let go of Lewis or let go of Hunt to clear off some of that money and then put Icky there? You're basically depending on giving him a prove it deal because you're gonna have to pay Icky something to keep him around unless he just has no market, which I kind of don't think is going to be the case. I think someone will want Icky, so you're gonna have to pay him like a 1 year prove it deal to try him for the very first time at guard. And it's like, man, that's really betting big on him. Let's say Pickle is right. Let's say even in pass protection as a guard, he suffers. It's like he could have had time to develop at that position and get some of those skills under his belt rather than having to be the man on the fly. And to me, it's like that injury was so ill-timed. But now I feel like we've set him back even further by never giving him any looks at that position ever, because now we're just sort of in no man's land, and it's like
I mean,
the,
he's
yeah,
still young, so I don't think it would really hurt him so much to try. Because if I'm not mistaken, he did play a little bit of guard at college, or I could be completely wrong. I'm pretty sure he played a little bit of guard though at NC State, but he's still so. I think he's only 25 years old, y'all, somewhere around that. He's still really young.
Yeah,
So
his freshman year. I'm
he
sorry.
played a little bit guard.
Jake.
No, go ahead, cut
His
me off.
freshman year, he played left guard, and he
Yeah.
looked. There's a reason why they moved him to the outside, and it wasn't because he played great at guard.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like it.
Every offensive lineman,
I like his
every college
team
lineman wants to play
atmosphere
left
of-
tackle. That's the money spot.
yeah, that's where
That's
the
the money.
money
Right,
is.
but
That is the
but
money
reality. But okay, Lewis is in fact our best pass blocking offensive lineman. He is like elite pass blocking. If you wanted to get rid of him, you
Timo.
would.
It's him and Taylor.
No, he's not. No, it's not. Lewis is better than Timo in pass blocking. It's just Lewis lines up on the outside and Mo lines up on the inside, or Mo lines
Yeah,
on the
he's
outside.
taking on
Lewis
more
is on the
skilled
inside.
pass rushers.
Well, okay, but
They're still
not
regardless, they're still
in today's NFL, really. But at the same time, though, Timo's got a bad knee, so and Timo's contract expires in 28. Lewis expires in 27. Icky expires after this season. So if I'm making the decision, and we all know I'm not, I'm going with the guy who can pass block great because I'm not betting the future on a possible offensive lineman who already can't block good, can't pass block good. I'm just not going to bet that.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking Lewis for sure.
Yeah, if we are going to be, as I think, as some other folks think, we're going to pass the ball more than we run block. This offense no longer fits Icky, period. Whether he lines up on the inside or the outside. And yes, when we drafted him, we should have lined him up on the inside. But Matt Rule wanted a left tackle. We needed a left tackle. Maybe Scott Fitter or Matt Rule just took the wrong offensive lineman.
I
remember who's the other one that got took right before? Was that Evan? Was it Evan Williams? I can't remember. What was his last name? Evan.
Yeah.
The one that went to the Giants. He's been worse than Icky.
Yeah, he has. And the guy that everybody said you don't take in the first round, Cross, been pretty good up there in Seattle. Of course.
Yeah, he's been solid.
Pass blocked. He was already a great pass blocker coming out of college. He just needed help.
Yeah, he wasn't his best run. Yeah.
And he got that. He got some help learning to run block. I mean, we are here where we are. So
I don't think it's gonna it's going to cost much to re-sign Icky, man. I don't know why
Pete,
I don't know why that, unless there's a team out there that's so desperate for a tackle. That's the only way I see us getting outbid. I mean, from all the interviews I've heard or seen from Icky, he seems like he wants to be in Carolina. He's around the team right now, currently even dealing with the injury, doing whatever he can. So I think he does want to be here, and I don't think it's going to cost much to keep him here.
Well, that's I think what the whole point of Freeling was, that we're basically trying to stack the deck. Like it's a real smart, I guess, forethought to get was it Rashad Gary, like have all those guys. Icky's injured. If Icky comes back, and let's say Freeling is really good at left tackle, he's a rookie of the year style player. Then you got, he's locked that spot down. He's like, oh, this already looks good. We're keeping him there. And then you're with Icky, and you're like, all right, if someone got injured, like Pickle's kind of saying maybe it's Robert Hunt again because he's been kind of off and on injured, or maybe it's even Timo. Maybe you move him to right tackle. And if he shows out that he can play there, let's say he goes to guard and he shows that he's an above average guard. Well, then that price drops because guards make less money than left tackles. So then it's easier re-sign for the future. You could say, oh, we'll give you this for 2 years, XYZ. You could come in and play guard next year. I think that's kind of in their ideal world. I think that's what the head office is hoping for, is that Freeling hits, that we could trade Gary maybe at the trade deadline, and then maybe Icky comes in and he is able to move into a vacancy, or he could be a swing tackle, swing guard that plays multiple spots. I think that's what they're in the perfect world. I think that's what the office is thinking, money wise, what they're hoping happens.
Right. It may be if we're talking about trading, it may be a point where Freely proves he can do it. Icky comes back healthy, so it may be easier to move Walker. He's only $4
That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, is it Rashad Walker?
Doesn't.
That's right.
Yeah. In my opinion, I watched Walker's film. He doesn't look like a guy who's planning to stick around long.
He's like a, what do you want to call it? Like a middle of the pack. Like he's a solid.
Right. But at the same time, let's be real. If you're Icky and you come back and you prove you can play guard, he may not want to take a cheap deal. If he comes back and he can prove he can play guard or right tackle, he may say, "Whoa, I can make a lot of money in free agency."
Well, yeah, I agree. Like if you're taking guard though, but you can still take money.
A lot of money free agency. That's just a fact of it. And like I said before, his contract expires at the end of this season. The only way you're keeping him, unless he wants to stay and he convinces the agents to sign a cheap deal, is if you franchise him, and I don't think anybody wants to do that. But
it might be good. Like, let's say, like where we're talking about Pickle, he has a good season, like a half a season at guard, and he can sign a 1 year and then show out that 1 year. That's what he chases, those big bucks. So, all that's possible.
That could happen.
I want to say this real quick, get this out of the way. His pass protection is not horrible. I don't think anybody's in here saying that his pass protection is horrible. I do think that's his weakest link is his pass protection, but I don't think it's horrible because I'll say this right now. I have seen way too many more left tackles that played that side, especially during the Cam Newton era, that was way worse than him. And that's just a fact of the matter of it.
I don't think it's not an ability. He has the ability to do it. I think he makes so many mental mistakes.
Right. I'm not saying he's the worst. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if I look at Freely, even as a rookie, and I look at Walker and I look at Icky, and I strictly base him on pass blocking, Icky's down there below him.
No, that is a good distinction to make, right? That Ikem Ekwonu, when he was drafted, he was a bulldozer. Whereas Freeling is that true definition of a dancing bear. 6'7", he has pterodactyl wings for arms, and he can move.
He's our future
his asset, undeniably, his asset is at pass protection at left tackle. There's no doubt about it. And I really do think you're going to see him this year. I don't know if it's just because I hope that if they start Rasheed Walker, he's serviceable. But I really hope there is a legitimate competition to see who will start at left tackle. I know they paid Walker the free agent money to come in, but you just drafted at number 19 overall, a first round pick who is strong, dynamic, is everything that you want in the position. Everything that we've seen about him thus far says that he's taking the position very seriously. I just don't know
He's a
why.
mammoth.
Yeah, he is a mammoth. I don't know
Uh,
why,
it,
why you would give him
Well,
every
I think
possibility to win the
right.
job.
if he's
I
not
would line
100%
Icky
ready,
up.
I'd break him out the Browns game. They don't have Garrett anymore. Like if
Yeah,
he's not 100% ready, like let him sit 2 games against some like the Bears and the Falcons both have decent pass rushers. Like I'd maybe put him if you don't think he's ready, I'd bring him third week and let him play
I
against
mean,
some lesser talent like
Taylor
that pass
Moton's
rush.
contract. Taylor Moton's contract actually expires after the 2027 season. And even then you can save
Probably
21
retire
million
though.
by you can save 21 million by cutting him if you want to. And I'm not saying we should do that, don't misunderstand that, but I'm saying if Icky comes back next year on a 1-year prove it deal, you can realistically start him at right tackle the very next year because Taylor Moton won't be here.
Yeah. And I just want to say real quick, there's good and bad. Icky had a hell of a game last year against the Packers. I mean, that's the one a lot of fans allude to because he locked up Micah Parsons. I mean, if you want to look
yeah.
at a great game that Icky had, that is a game that you want to watch. Is him versus Micah Parsons against the Packers.
I just feel
Career
like
The
he
best
game.
gets the thing that always
by
worries
having
me
too
about Icky
many
is how much he gets burned on like twists and stunts. Like I feel
Yeah,
right.
like he
man.
makes so many mental error. Like, dude, it was a
Right.
simple exchange, and you just let that guy run right by you. It bugs me. I don't know.
Right. Uh,
Wait, let me let Michael Weiser again. Michael, where does Kim Quantum play this season on the offensive line if he plays at all?
I believe he should be a backup guard, if I'm being honest, because yeah, like I'm glad that he's making a speedy recovery for his injury, I suppose it was last season. But anyways, yeah, I feel like he should be a backup guard for somebody that does get injured because then that way he can just like either rotate either from the guard spot or just in case if like I forgot who just said it, the Taylor Moton injury issue that might happen.
Yeah.
Um well if we flip him to right tackle, just in case if he's in that backup guard spot, we can flip him to right tackle and have him play right tackle
In
just
the
in case
pinch.
if Taylor Moton gets injured.
Yeah, no, I like that too. I mean, I would rather have Kim Quantum on this team than not have him. I've said earlier on one of our Tuesday shows that even though I like the formation of our offensive line in total better this year, even though center is still a little bit of a question, and that is very important. I'm hoping that Luke Fortner can be who we think he is until Sam Hecht takes that job from him. But I don't love the depth on this offensive line like I did last year when we had Austin Corbett, Cade Mays, Brady Christensen. So having a former first round pick in the ranks to be able to call his number when you need him, that's a big deal. And I'm hoping that we're able to get him back sooner than later. Let me welcome in CPG back on the free for all. CPG, what's up, brother? How you living, man?
What's going on, everybody? Keep pounding.
Keep pounding, brother. How you feeling, dude?
I feel pretty good, man. I'm excited about the Canes, and I'm really excited to see
Go
where the
Canes.
Panthers go this year.
Yeah, man. What do you think about? I mean, listen, we sort of talked about everything, so I'll let you jump in wherever you want to. We just talked about Icky, where he might fit in. He's getting healthy. XL on the bubble. Jalen Coker getting paid. TMAC putting on weight. It's a free for all, man. I'll let you jump in and talk about whatever you want to, man.
Oh, you guys have been talking about Icky. I just wanted to give my opinion on that. It's my
Yeah, go
opinion,
ahead.
by the way. Some of you might think I got a point. You might think I'm dumb, but I don't know that Icky comes back this season. They're saying he's going to, but if he does, I think you'd be smarter to wait. Like if we make the playoffs, let him play in the playoffs. But I would not rush a left tackle that you're about to make a big decision on back to the field.
I
And
understand that. Uh,
Plus,
but his
what if the guys playing left tackle throughout most of the season start playing good? Then we have to think about, like you guys are saying, where do we put Icky when he comes back? Do we move him to guard or move the other guys around? Like, it's a lot of
we don't
ifs at this point.
we don't. Icky's an unrestricted free agent after this season, so he doesn't have to return here. He just go somewhere else and play. If he comes back fully healthy, he just has to go to a visit somewhere and prove that he's 100%. Then he
Knowing
plays for
Dan
somebody else.
Morgan, they'll probably re-sign him. He's just not going to get the money he wants.
I mean,
maybe.
I don't know. There's so
I
many
think
question marks. We really just don't know.
I mean,
man.
he can't really play to prove it this year after rupturing it. I mean, and he ruptured his patellar tendon. He's not going to have the same, snap and explosiveness.
Well, let me ask. I want to ask Jake a question. You said right guard if Icky were to play. Why did you say right guard? Is that because Hunt has sort of had an injury history,
His
or
injury,
did you just?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
don't
not
let me
only
steal the
that,
words. Tell me.
if you compare Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, I do think Damian Lewis has been a better guard, so to speak. I think Robert Hunt, when he had that full healthy season, it was great. But if you compare him and Damian Lewis, I do believe Damian Lewis right now is the better guard between the two.
Damian Lewis does not get the love he deserves.
No, he does not.
I agree.
We were all showing Hunt all the love, and then he got hurt, and I was like, man, Damian Lewis is out there earning his money.
Right.
Hey,
I think Damian Lewis is a better guard. We're 100% better guard.
JD,
I really
we still
mainly
got
want us
you.
to get the center figured out.
Oh, for sure. I'm just
Yeah, man,
listening.
jumping on. No, you're good, bro. Jumping on this convo. What do you think if Icky comes back this year? Where would that be? Where would you rather see him? And how would that happen?
And personally, the offensive line is probably one group on the team that I haven't really given a whole lot of thought to. Obviously, there was the injury with Icky, which I think that changed a lot of what their future plans were. I do want to take this opportunity to give, I guess, give them their flowers because I love how the front office has been moving. The fluid, is that a word? Fluidity?
Yeah.
the react to contact, if you will. Is a term I always my leaders in the Army the leadership always use, like how you react to contact, how you respond to things when they immediately change. And the front office now is night and day from what it was in the past. In years past, I would always try to my takes on it would almost be like a Band-Aid on a broken arm. The offensive line was bad. And you had hope that they would be able to hold together, and then they seasons start and they look just as bad as you thought they'd be. Offensive line is just currently constructed. I think if you ask Canales and company, they would say that they're upset with how often, because I feel like even with the additions they've made over the past few seasons, the O-line has been in constant fluctuation, even with trying to stabilize it. The center position has been swapped out. And then you have Icky getting injured this year, and for him, it couldn't have happened at a worse time because, as someone else just said, it's a very tough spot from a business standpoint. The last few years that he's been on the field, he's shown improvement. So do you pay him based off of what you think he might be? And there you get into that whole conversation. You drafted a left tackle who, and Cody was just speaking on, and the guy is pretty much he's built to be the left tackle. Then you have the issue with Icky coming out of college and having the talent to play a position that no one gave him a real shot to play in the NFL. And again, he's hurt. So how does this season, for him, how's the season going to play out? Because even if he comes back healthy, I would personally, if I was having a conversation with him, hey, let it ride. ain't no especially if the offensive line has been playing well. That's the one position group you don't want to mess up their chemistry. So
Yeah.
I can't even say that the writing's on the wall for him because he's a very talented player. There's depth. If you took all 32 NFL starting left tackles playing this season, Ike Ekwonu is better than what 3/4 of that group. So he's going to be on an NFL roster. I think for him this season, it's a decision on do I want to stay, do I want to remain with the Carolina Panthers? And am I even going to have a spot after this year? He might. It may have just been I hope it works out for everybody involved. But if I had to run what I think is going to happen, the young man that they drafted at left tackle he's going to take over that spot. And it is as sad as it might be, we might have seen Icky play his last game and for the end that way. Especially like again, Icky being the player he's been, the character he seems to like just the person he seems to be.
Yeah,
I think that
he's a
plan on
good
keeping
dude.
all those guys. I think it's just more about depth this offseason.
Yeah,
you saw how many injuries we had on the offensive line last year. They were trying to get ready for that.
Right, but like even with that, like I said, for him, because I say this as a fan of Cam Newton and watching what Cam went through with this team. Fuck what you could do in this season. I'd rather see you have a long and healthy career. Like Cam, I don't know how much of it was Ron letting Cam be Cam. I don't know how much of it, like somebody needed to keep Cam from getting out on the field. It would have possibly.
Well, Cam blamed himself for that. He said that he should have told the coaching staff that he was hurting, but he didn't want to tell nobody.
That is the dude prior to Cam and the career that he had as a professional.
Yeah, I love Cam too, but sometimes you got to let the team go out there without you, man.
Yeah, like if I'm talking to King, I'm telling him, bro, you get yourself back. Hell, you just saw it happen with Jonathan Brooks. Like he had a full year, seemed like he was good, came back, got hurt again. Don't do that shit to yourself because a second injury to your knee as a offensive lineman, even though Jonathan Brooks has had a second injury to his knee, and hell, the running back position, we see how that drop off is quick. You're an offensive lineman.
It's very rare when people with constant knee injuries make it. Like Thomas Davis is like one of the few people.
I would be willing to bet that if a King took the entire year off and the Carolina Panthers decided to release him, because I think in that situation there's not really a whole lot that he can do if the offensive line stays healthy for the most part and the rookie that they drafted takes over the left tackle position. We need depth, but Ike ain't no depth player. We all know that. Yeah. And so he would have to take a massive pay cut and be like, okay, I'm gonna be a backup for a year and then essentially hope that someone gets hurt so that he can get out there and show that he still got it or beat someone out.
His agent gonna tell him to chase the money.
No, I'm telling you, just get your body right. It's personally this is my if Akeem's people happen to get this message, this is Justin Young saying to Akeem, do what's best for you and your family. I know you want to be a part of the team, and truth be told, dog, you've been a team player up to this point. This is the one time where you can be as selfish as you need to be. Think about what your career is going to be down the line, not right now. The Carolina Panthers, as much as I would love to see Akeem return to form, that's too damn soon for that spot. As sad as it might be for it to end the way that it is, we don't always get what we want in life. And I think this is going to be one of the moments like you wish the dude could have been a Panther, remained a Panther, but I personally want the offensive line to remain healthy. Akeem's hurt right now. You get the 5 best guys out on the field, and I want them to remain on the field. So,
yeah, no, that's a great point. And I think all these players have to do ultimately what's best for them and their families. I do think, and again, I know all of this is, trivial because, they're all in a working relationship. But Dave Canales said that Ikem Ekwonu was in good spirits. He was there getting in shape. He has the mindset that he wants to come back this year and be ready to play ball. And, I don't feel like we're disagreeing, JD, But what I would say is even if it's more financially, in his benefit to play left tackle, man, if they give him an opportunity to play center, he should jump on it. If it's left guard, right guard, no matter where it is, Kim Quandra should get in where he fits in. And
I think
especially
he'll
if
do
we're
whatever they
that's
ask
part
him
of the
to.
reason
yeah,
why I say that, because if King took a year off going into next season, even with the draft, with what he's done in the NFL up to this point, having a full year off, fully healthy, and he enters free agency, he's going to get, like, if he gets paid as the 12th, 13th left tackle, that's probably going to be more money than a guard, center, that whole.
I don't know,
And
man. It depends. Let me ask you this, JD, because I've been putting this out. What if they gave him a 1 year prove it deal to play either left guard or right guard? Say we move on from, let's just say, Hunt, Robert Hunt, or Damian Lewis, rather. Whichever you end up wanting to move on from. Let's say you give him a 1 year prove it deal at either of those guard spots, and with the under the auspice of, if you perform well this year, we will, extend you at the guard position going forward. Do you think that is something that Icky would do, or would he look to go somewhere else and try to be a left tackle for some other team?
uh, like I said, if I'm putting myself in his mind, if I'm thinking, I'm gonna approach it with what I would do. I'm taking that year off to get my body right, and I'm gonna go get paid for the position, because again, the left tackle position is much more lucrative than the remaining positions on the offensive line. In addition to wanting, me personally wanting it, ideally, I would love for the NFL season to go on from the start to the beginning and no player gets hurt. So then when you beat a team and that team was at 100% max health and talent and shit, and you still beat them, dog wall them, which I think what Carolina Panthers is going to do this year, you can talk the maximum amount of shit to their fans because they can't come up with any excuses. Oh, we were missing this guy. Nope, your team was healthy. We beat you. Take the L. Neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
to
yeah.
tell
I mean,
you,
I hear that. I
I
hear
think
that.
his point is just he's saying he wants Icky to look out for himself
yeah,
because you don't want
that's
to rush
ultimately,
back off an injury like that and get hurt again. Now your career might be over.
My
yeah,
only thing with that though is, man, taking a year off, so much happens in a year. Other players reveal themselves, the free agent market changes. Like, I just don't know. I mean, I understand the logic that you're putting forward. It's obviously left tackle is one of the biggest money positions in all of football. But I don't know, man. It's just, to me, so much can change in a year that he could end up waiting himself out of another job, and his free agent market might not be what
what
he
it
might
is.
think it is, especially since, okay, you mentioned the Michael Parsons game when you shut him down against Green Bay. Going into 2027, he'll be what, 2 years, over 2 years removed from that performance. A lot happens in that time. So it might be prudent for him to take a prove it deal if he were offered one. And it might not even be with the Panthers, just being honest. Like, they might not want to move on from Lewis or Hunt, especially if they have a good, productive, healthy year this year. But
And
I don't know,
that,
man. I've never been able to fight the feeling that we have an all pro guard playing out of position, man. Maybe I'm wrong.
Cody,
I have no evidence for this. I just feel like Kim Quandra could have been our very own Quentin Nelson.
I agree.
Cody, as someone, like, to follow that up, I've been right there with you because, to be honest, you were the first person I heard say it in regards to pushing for BC to be the left tackle and Icky to be
Yeah.
left guard, and then to me, I like things that make sense. That to me, I'm looking at BC. He came out of college. He was a left tackle. Just put him at left tackle. Give him a shot.
Yeah.
Icky, he got all this. We've seen Icky move. He's big. He's athletic. Put him at left guard. I personally wouldn't want to be in front of him if he's pulling. I don't think there are too many NFL players that would happily get in front of Ikem if he's pulling. We never really got that. As someone who wanted to see it, because you can't tell me it wouldn't. There's no way it would not have worked. Sadly, we never got a chance to see it.
Yeah.
And aggravatingly enough for him. Like, man, tough, very
know.
tough spot to be in.
It's a real tough spot. Dude, that injury could not have happened at a worse moment. In a playoff
Absolutely.
game, right when he's on the cusp of getting
Hey.
paid. No, let me get Christian
And
in.
you
Go ahead,
get
Christian.
called for a penalty.
I
Well,
just
let me get Christian in. Go ahead, Christian.
Hey, thanks, man. I think I had really nothing to say until you just said that right there. I think it might be a blessing in disguise. I thought it the second it happened, or the second after we when the playoffs were done for us. I'm like, dude, this might be a blessing because if we can get a true left tackle and then have Icky as an opportunity, more of an inside guy, if an opportunity creates itself, then I think that could be great, man. But now we just need to see Monroe Freeland be that left tackle, that dancing bear, one of the top 5 offensive left tackles in the league. If he can get there, then and if Icky for some reason could be a backup for now, I don't know where he's going to end up, but like I said, it might be a blessing in disguise for this team in the long run.
if I may say, don't get caught up in this player was projected at this spot to be elite. Way back when Taylor Moton was drafted, at the time, everybody said he's played tackle in college, but he's projected better as a guard. When the Panthers drafted him, they planned to play him at guard, but in camp he looked awful. In preseason, he looked awful. He just didn't look like he fit that position. And because he was a late second round pick, of course he wasn't going to get cut. So, but I think it was either early in the season or during preseason. Darrell Williams, our right tackle that played very well the year before, broke his leg, and it was a natural fit to try Timo at tackle, where he's been ever since. So just because some draft analyst somewhere says he's projected at better at guard, don't necessarily mean he would be better at guard. I just wanted to say that.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is Moton's last season.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked.
I would definitely. If Icky comes back, I would definitely try him at right tackle. That's
But
exactly
man, the reason why I always put a pause on that discussion is because, dude, Taylor Moton has not only been one of our most dependable offensive linemen, but every year this dude has seemingly gotten better and better. And then on top of that, Taylor Moton, I mean, listen, I understand no one's going to say, yeah, man, I'm on the doorstep of retirement. But when they asked him about it, he still made it sound like he has a bunch of good years out in front of him. And I just think Taylor Moton has been so loyal. He's been so good. He's been the most consistent offensive lineman that we've had here in a long time. I'm sorry. I'm willing to give Taylor Moton the benefit of the doubt in those scenarios. I just am.
Well, people forget Taylor Moton's been through Cam Newton, all those other quarterbacks.
Yeah, man. He's been here a long time.
GMs, all these coaches.
A few years ago, when we were actually trying to convince his agent to resign, extend his contract, it was going to help us in cap. Taylor Moton got on there and cried and boo-hooed about his knee was sore, but he gave his all, and he made a nice little thing, and everybody loved it, including myself, and he got his contract. Now all of a sudden he comes back and says, "Oh yeah, I can play 4 or 5 more years." Of course he can. He's still under contract. But listen, I'm not saying he don't. I'm just saying, remember, we were told this by a few other tackles in the past. And in the drop of a hat, when they go real quick. So I'm not saying that Timo's going to be bad. I'm not even saying that you plan to do this, but his contract expires in 2027. So I and Lewis expires in 2027, and Hunt expires in 2028. So all that being said, you're going to have to make some some draft picks devoted to offensive linemen anyway.
Yeah.
So, don't, be careful if you let Icky walk, because you don't, and then turn around and you draft or you sign a free agent. That's worse. Remember before Walker mysteriously became available, Remember who was going to line up at left tackle. You know, that's why we drafted Freely. We already
Yeah.
had Walker,
I
but
think our
you know,
interior offensive line's been the biggest issue.
it has. I agree to that.
I mean,
And
last year I can think of several games where Bryce is getting pressured up the middle every damn
right,
snap.
that's why to me, if I have an offensive lineman who's good at pass blocking, is better at pass blocking than run blocking, I'm up to go with him over a guy who's and Robert Hunt isn't as good at pass blocking as many projected him to be. He's more of a massively big guy who just tanks up. Who's good? He's a great run blocker. He really is. He's probably the closest identical to Icky that plays inside.
Yeah, he likes to
Uh,
get out and
I think Robert
downfield
Hunt
and
is our.
block.
I think Robert Hunt, when healthy, is our best run blocker. Period. Across the offensive line. I mean, that dude out there just delivers pancakes to people.
right, right. So we may have to make a choice and just even if Icky comes back this season and he plays good at whatever position they put him at. Like I said, I would try him at right tackle before anything else because
I,
it's harder to get a right tackle than a guard
And
in
I
the
was about
draft
to
or
say,
free agency.
Go ahead, Jake.
Uh,
like, I don't know how realistic it is, but if Timo continues to play the way he's played, I would argue that he's fast approaching a level of I don't know how realistic it is, but I feel like there are players in the NFL that you can't like once they hit a certain age, their play is it's like what's the I want to Calais is it Calais Campbell?
Hmm.
Like he's up there, but it's still like the production it dropped off, but it hit a point where it's just okay. He's an okay player now. I think Timo might be reaching a point like that with his career, where at his worst he's still just an okay right tackle. And if that is what happens, I'm curious as to whether or not they'll give him again. I don't know how realistic it is, but if he reaches a point where you can see that his play has declined, but he's still like compared to the other 31 right tackles in the NFL, he's still one of the better ones. Even as he's getting up there in age, I'm curious as to whether or not they'll give him the option, like, hey, you're going to retire a Panther, so just give us due heads up. Like, if you're going to retire this year, can you let us know a couple months prior to so we can? I'm not sure if that's something that NFL organizations even take into account, or is that something that they would do. But I feel like if there was a player on the team that they would give that option to, Timo's the month, but like Cam, Sam, Baker, PJ, he done been here for all them quarterbacks. The least the Carolina Panthers can do is give him the option of when he wants to put it, like hang it up. That's what I would like to see happen.
I agree. I think
Like,
he should retire a Panther, and we need to get back to doing it the right way. Stop cutting all our legends and letting them retire somewhere else.
If Timo, if you want to say Timo is like again, I think he's reaching legendary Panther status. If nothing else, the month has been an Iron Man.
He's
Like
been one of the best tackles since
the
Jordan
crazy
Gross,
thing
probably.
is, I want to say it wasn't until like last year that I feel like he's gotten. Last year was like the first time that he missed a game or two because of an injury. It's like same thing with Coker, no drops. And Timo was like no games missed. Like that's some legendary Iron Man shit.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
believe. Am I?
Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah.
Uh, this is his 11th season too. I mean, you gotta respect somebody that's been here through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm not talking about the Clint Eastwood movie. I mean, he is 100% been the best right tackle we've ever had in our history. And I agree. I want to keep him as long as possible. But you do what the Panthers are doing right now is they're preparing for after Icky and preparing for our future left tackle as well. I mean, you got to prepare for both tackle spots, and I think we're in a position to do that. But at the same time, you want to keep Taylor Moton as long as possible.
Yeah. So let me
And
ask you all this. We've talked about Icky. We've talked about the offensive line. In a little bit, we're going to get out of here and call it a Friday. Are there any other topics you guys would like to discuss before we get on out of here and call it a free for all? Anything and everything. Whatever Panther news, talk, opinions you would like to get off your chest, now's the time to
Does
do it.
does does the rookie safety start in place of Scott, Nick Scott?
Zakee Wheatley, does he take over Nick
Hmm.
Scott's position?
Yep.
I think he's
Mm,
gonna have to beat him out in camp for that.
I think Lathan Ransom has the better chance, y'all.
that's what I was about to say. I wouldn't put Wheatley above Ransom in that scenario.
I mean, Ransom, that game Trayvon Merrick was suspended last year, he played his ass off.
Yeah.
I, I,
Trayvon
I
Merrick has been a beast. It's hard to imagine anyone having his job.
I just wanted to say that my expectations for Jonathan Brooks this year is the best. It might sound silly or weird, but I was thinking, Jonathan Brooks, this season in completion will look like the best season from Jonathan Stewart from a running standpoint. That I feel like the production he will give us will be prime J Stu from the run game, and I feel like his pass catching ability is something that a lot of people. I feel as though Brooks will have the impact to this offense of a Saquon to the Eagles or a CMC to the 49ers. I believe his addition to the offense will be of that level of impact. Like having him out on the field and the player himself, I think, again, running the ball, Jay Stu, catching the ball, you'll see a little CMC Kamara. Like, I think he's going to have more passing yards, receiving yards than people are thinking. Like, I do believe that Brooks is going to be, his impact on this team will be similar to when Saquon went to the Eagles.
I hear a lot of y'all talk about Brooks, and I was sitting here thinking while you was talking. Last year we kept debating every other week about Canales doesn't know which running back to ride with when they had the hot hand, whether it was Chuba or Rico, whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking, how is he supposed to do that with Chuba, AJ Dillon, and Jonathan Brooks and Trevor Etienne this year?
Like that's the thing. I think they're gearing up to make Brooks. It's not so much make him, but as I think their intent is, or their desire when they drafted him, was that he was going to be the guy. And if anybody needs a reminder, go and look at what Jonathan Brooks was coming out of college. If all he is that player behind this offensive line,
Yeah, that'd
1,000
be a
yards
hell
on.
of a compliment to Chuba.
I'm just saying, like that's. I just look at. I try to come up with my expectations based off of what I've seen, not some delusions of grandeur. I'm not sitting here telling people that Brooks is going to be the second coming of CMC, but
No, you make good points about everything.
I do want to say that when I'm watching Brooks college film, very similar to Alvin Kamara, you see the smoothness, the smarts, the athleticism, everything. I believe that his hands are a lot softer than people think they are. And we've seen just in a few snaps he was able to take before he went down, when he got into open field, the dude was a big play waiting to happen. That's all that Saquon Barkley is. That's all that CMC is. They're players that if you get the ball into their hands, and you don't have to do it a lot, I think Brooks will show that as the season goes on. He's not, what's his name? I apologize for forgetting bro's name that quick. Running back we had last year.
Rico Dowdle.
Former Gamecock, and I forgot his name. Good God.
Yeah, he's at
Dowdle.
Pittsburgh State right now.
Bro, I'm even though I just said all these other running backs' names, you could take what Dowdle was doing against the Cowboys, what Dowdle did when he went for 200. I really do believe that that's what Jonathan Brooks will be week in and week out if he's healthy. Like, he could potentially go off for 200 yards, and you're like, how the fuck? He has 2 runs that broke for 70 yards, and then everything else is just like a 4 or 5 yard carry. Like, I believe that's the type of back Brooks is going to be. You give him 10 carries, and one of those carries is going to be a monster game. And as the season goes on, if he's able to stay healthy with Chuba backing him up, with ETN, with Dillon, with those guys being able to step, I think Canales was able to figure it out last year. He should have gone with.
You ride whoever the hot hand is, and in the mid-season like that, whoever is balling, when they start struggling, put the other guy back in.
this is where my hope is coming into play because Brooks has been out for pretty much 2 seasons. I'm hoping that his learning curve, which I don't think he completed because of his rookie season being the way it did and then getting hurt the following season. I do believe that there's still a bit of a learning curve there for him. I don't think it's going to take that many games for him to catch up to speed. At that point, again, all I need Brooks to be is the player he was coming out of college behind this offensive line and having Bryce as his quarterback, which is where I think his talents as a pass catcher are going to show. I don't believe that Bryce, even with Dowdle being on the team last year, I don't think Bryce has ever had a running back to this point in his career that can do or be what Brooks has shown to be in college. So if he gets if he's any better than what he was when he was coming out of college, the young man has the potential to be a very special player. And behind this offensive line, which we all know it's a team sport, as good of a running back as you might be, you're only as good as that offensive line is going to allow you. I can only imagine what CMC would look like behind this offensive line. I can only imagine what a lot of running backs we've had in years past. That type of Brooks has been hurt. So I'm just looking at his college highlights and just imagining. Slap the Carolina uniform on there and see if we can get that same production.
Yeah, man.
Again, I can't help but feel like it's going to hit. Then you got Bryce, Coker. Bryce has his weapons. I'm still trying to figure out how to word the analogy, but one of my favorite anime from when I was young, Soul Eater. The show premise of the show is that you have weapons and you have weapon meisters. Bryce is a weapon meister, and Canales went out and got him.
Love the analogies, bro. I love anime analogies.
I couldn't
You killed it with that one, bro.
If I had to take a guess right now, I would tell you that Coker is probably the closest to becoming a death sight. You saw it last year. Injuries have been the only thing that's held Coker back. McMillan got year 2. You were a rookie. We weren't even this. We expected you to ball, but you went out and got rookie of the year. So you got one scythe right there. You got Coker, Excel, bro. You just go out there and do what got you drafted.
Well, see, that's why I think Coker's so good, because Coker didn't get drafted, but Coker does exactly what you've seen him do on tape at Holy Cross. Exactly. He does that in the NFL.
If it was up to Cody, he would want Jonathan Brooks to be Goku or something.
Bro, Jonathan Brooks would be like Wolverine, man, because he's been broken so many times. But if he comes back,
I just want him to stay healthy. I'm right there with you. Like I'm not even putting like stat line on Jonathan Brooks. I just want that man to have a healthy season, man.
As young as he is, too.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm telling you, if you think about it from that perspective, you look at it when even this upcoming season, once the regular season for the NFL and everything, college football is over with. When y'all go and y'all evaluate these college players, just imagine, can you see that guy doing that shit in the NFL? Because if you can do that if you could do what got you drafted, that's gonna get you paid.
Yeah, that's how I always watch college.
If you can add a little bit to it,
games, and I'm like, that dude right there is already good enough to play in the NFL.
Well, but I've said this too, man. Like so much of a running back's production, it really is dependent upon what that offensive line is like. I mean, listen, here's a name I know y'all would all sooner rather forget, but Miles Sanders was once upon a time a 1,000-yard running back for the Philadelphia Eagles behind that great offensive line they had. And then he comes to Carolina, and he really wasn't shit, man.
Hot dog water.
All that to say, man, if this offensive line can make the same kind of holes that they did last year for Dowdle, man, I think Jonathan and Chuba could really run wild this year, man. I really do, but the offensive line has to be up to snuff.
The offensive line, the defensive line. I've said it before. When I was in high school, when I was actually able to play at the level in which I was playing at, the games in which the defensive line was able to establish dominance playing linebacker, it was so much fun. Like, they snap the ball and our D-line is pushing them back 1 yard, 2 yard. Okay, now I could just find where the running back at and destroy him. Same thing on the offensive side of the ball. Your quarterback, don't matter if you got the best quarterback in the league, don't matter if you got the best running back in the league. If your offensive line ain't giving them dudes time, at that point, you talk about the cream of the crop. a really, really special running back can make a really bad offensive line look okay. We saw CMC do that shit. Now, if you could
Yeah.
take a really special player and put him behind what should be a special unit in that offensive line, not saying that that's what we got, not saying that that's what Jonathan Brooks is, but if Jonathan Brooks has special in him, if that offensive line has special in it, all you need is them two things to vibe, and now you got a fucking problem to deal with. Because you also got to deal with Bryce throwing the ball to the weapons he has. And again, those guys, you are not about to tell me McMillan ain't got special in him. You ain't about to tell me Coker ain't got special in him. Can you get a tight end to show you that he got special in him? I mean, like, I ain't trying to just be out here on the field and make a play every now and again. Get me the ball. And I ain't demanding it. I ain't on the field throwing tantrums. I'm saying get me the ball with the way I'm playing. You need me to go block somebody, I'm going to go block them. And then you ask me to go run that route, I'm going to run that route, and I'm going to get open. Now get me the damn ball. I need a tight end to step. I need Evans or Sanders or somebody to say, fuck. I hear all the hype around McMillan, all the hype around Cody. He just got paid. I'm happy for you, big dog. But it's time for a tight end to step in. Can you get a wide receiver 3 that goes out there and he says, I see what Coker doing. I see what McMillan doing. They just being efficient. They doing what they supposed to.
This is also, JD, why I felt if we didn't go um, uh, offensive line in the first round of the draft, I thought we were going to take someone like Kenyon Sadiq. Now, he ended up going before we had an opportunity to draft him, but I thought that we would even look to, upgrade the tight end room. But two things. You mentioned Mitchell Evans. We're hoping to name him Captain America, like you said. But I also don't think they're ready to throw in the towel on Jatavion Sanders. We're talking about XL and him hopefully living up to his fullest potential. But I kind of think they're hoping the same thing from JT also. I think that players develop at different speeds than some others do. And I really think that they feel that this tight end room, if they can take the next step, they could be more than serviceable this year.
I
Wait,
haven't
can
heard
I?
any of y'all say this yet, but
Yeah.
I think the fact that we have an extra preseason game with the Hall of Fame game, I think all of these ifs we're talking about, I think that that's the best case scenario for us is we get an extra game to get ready.
Yeah, I like that part
Yes.
a lot.
I
Yeah, me
just
too.
Cody,
Go ahead, Jay.
do you think that Sanders losing the weight he's lost the last 2 off seasons to make himself faster? I guess. Do you not think that that will play a part in him trying to learn to block?
I don't
David
know,
Canales
man.
is
Like
off.
if
Well, so far in their offense, I'll say it that way because we really haven't seen Brad Isaac. We're assuming it's similar to Canales's blocking tight end. All our tight ends are expected to block. That's paramount.
yeah. Well, I mean, if he's dropping weight and trying to be a better blocker, I don't love that because at some point in
Yeah, that's
time you're gonna have to go up against defensive ends.
right.
So that's not a good
let's go
recipe. So I'm not loving that.
USA.
But I don't know, man. Like I just don't think that if I'm Xavier Sanders, I would be trying to lose weight. I mean, look at guys like George Kittle. That dude,
Yeah,
he's a tank.
yeah.
He's
I,
not a light guy, but
that's
yeah, he can still
uh,
run his routes.
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
I don't love that. But even if Sanders doesn't live up to what we want him to be, I think Mitchell Evans
Yeah.
was more than serviceable. I think he's a good
right.
in at the position, and I think they like what they have in him. I think he can step up in another big time way this year.
USA
I'm
just
really hoping
scored.
that too. I
Yeah,
like
that's
Mitch
why that
Evans a
my bad.
lot.
That's what
I'm hoping the game slows down for him this year because a lot of them say when they're a rookie it goes so fast they can't really
Right,
absorb anything.
right. And
Yeah.
I love Sanders. I love Travion Sanders. I was so happy and excited when we drafted him. I really thought a lot about him, but I thought, well, give him a year or two to get his weight up and learn to block, and he'll be elite. I
yeah, it's a yellow
I
card.
don't understand why he keeps losing weight. I don't see how he can
I don't
be
know
an
why you do
effective
that
blocker.
after you have an injury like he did, where he landed on the top of his head and you
Right.
lose
Yeah,
weight
that was
after
bad.
that.
Right,
Well,
because
Yeah.
he said he lost more weight, and he already lost weight from last year. His rookie year, he could tell his blocking he was trying to block, and he was he was learning. And then the last year he came out and he lost weight, still got hurt, was less effective as a blocker, and now he comes out this year and says he lost more weight. I don't I don't understand what he's doing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I
the
think
coaches
And
haven't talked about it. I don't think it's something the coaches wanted him to do.
that's part of the reason why I feel like Evans will. If there was a tight end that I had to put money on, I'm again. Like, if you're a Panther, I'm rooting for your success. If I
Right.
had to pick a player to put money on being the guy in that tight end room, I would put it on Evans because he came out of college as a more complete tight end. He was a better blocker out the gate. What he lacks in regards to athleticism, I think he more than makes up for in regards to short area of burst. Like Evans can get open, and he showed that his rookie again. He showed it his rookie season. Sanders looked good. If I'm not mistaken, Sanders' rookie season looked better than his sophomore campaign. So he had a sophomore slump. You hope he's able to bounce back, which good players, in my opinion, they will lose weight,
Right.
add weight. If you're a good player, you're gonna bounce back. And I think like he's going to show up, but I think it's Evans' spot to take because and it could be that I'm simply romanticizing Greg Olsen.
Right.
And that it's like Greg, I don't feel like was the y'all mentioned my favorite tight end playing today, George Kittle. They're not small guys, like they're probably the hardest position to play on the offense next to the offensive line because you're asked to do the same thing that the offensive line is asked to do. You're asked to catch the same way a receiver. And I saw Evans as a rookie, and I would argue that Evans' rookie season looked better than Sanders. Like he came out as a much better blocker. I haven't heard much of anything from him. From
Well, Sanders was hot his rookie season till that neck injury, and then he was kind of quiet the rest of the year.
Sanders said last year. He said in an interview this week, a couple weeks ago, he said that last year he was 255. He's lost about 15 pounds. He said, right now, I'm at 238 right now. 238-pound tight end.
I don't like that.
Nah, that's almost. And I told G Baby, we know how big G Baby is on Texas fans. I told G, I don't like this. I really think Sanders has almost played him out of. I don't think he fits the system anymore. This is probably one of the biggest worries I have on the roster, that they're going to try to force, because he was a fourth-round pick, force him into the lineup.
He's also coming off of that broken fibula.
Yeah, he's going to, if he doesn't give up a bunch of sacks, he may very well get hurt before then.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to switch, him to wide receiver, whatever. But at 238-pound tight end,
ain't no way he's going wide receiver. We're too deep right now. But I never like changing tight end to wide receiver. It just never works.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense anyway.
Hey, before we get out of here, Mike wanted to ask a question. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. My question to you guys is this. Who out of the entire roster, who do you want to see become more successful? I'll start first by saying I need to see Bryce Young become more successful on the offense.
All right. That's a good question. We'll go around. And how about this? We'll let this be everyone's final thoughts for the show tonight. Who do you want to see more successful in 2026? I'm going to start with my man JD, holding it down in the beautiful Isles of Hawaii. Hey, man, I appreciate you being on the free-for-all. As we leave, what player are you hoping to have a super successful 2026?
And I'm gonna go with the guy I've mentioned a few times now. I'm going with Captain America, bro. I want
Mitchell Evans.
I want it to be halfway through the season where like a nick if that is not his nickname, I want a nickname for the fan base to collectively not just from I want the fan base to come up with a nickname for Evans that sticks, and then national media. I'm talking like ESPN. I want for some. I feel like the Carolina Panthers offense won't be complete until there is a tight end that opposing teams have to respect, just out of respect to what Greg Olsen was when he was here. I feel like there needs to be a tight end to step up. And I'm hoping and feel like it's a combination of the two. I hope Evans is that guy, but I also feel like he's shown that he's going to put his head down, get to work, and improve where he needs to improve to give Bryce that, because that's what Olsen was for Cam, that true security blanket. If Evans is able to become that, I feel like that'll take some pressure off of the receiving corps. And even though I still feel like McMillan and Coker are going to be leading the charge there, I'm excited to see what this team would look like if you have a superstar in the making at running back, a superstar in the making at tight end, with a young up and coming superstar in Nalo, and then you got Coker on the opposite side of him, who again, I'm gonna hinge it on Evans. That's the player I want to see having an increased amount of success this year.
All right, I love it. Love that. That's a great answer. If we could get a dominant tight end out of one of those guys, that would be awesome. CPG, we'll go to you next, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. And what player do you want to be super successful in 2026?
That's a good question, man. I've been sitting here thinking about it. And honestly, I really, I know I might get some reactions out there, but I really want XL to do a lot better this
Good
year.
answer. Good answer.
I mean, my wife's a Gamecocks fan, so I've watched him since he played for South Carolina, and I've seen like when he's balling, he's good, but he's just I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because he was hanging out with Glorilla and everybody, but you got to lock in and ball out this year, bro.
Yeah, no, he definitely does.
I do want to add on to that the Gamecock fan that I am. If I can just see one XL's 40, 50-yard catch over a defender, just one in the Panthers uniform, dog, you got to get.
We need Gamecock XL on the Panthers.
A lot, actually.
XL said in his interview this week, he said, I started out slow in South Carolina. I'm surprised he said that, but he said I started out kind of slow in South Carolina. I'm right on track to have a big year.
I mean, he did. His last year was his best year.
Yep.
Right. So,
no, that's a great answer. That's a great answer.
And that was just because Rattler was throwing him the ball on every fucking.
And you know me too, man. Like I love to shut up naysayers and people who feel like they're confident enough to say that his trash is done. He's not gonna do shit. Like I really hope that we get to shove it in those people's faces, man. You already mentioned G Baby, and that is one of them. We will never call that man extra lotion again. We'll go to my man Jake. Jake, let's go to you, man. I appreciate you as always jumping on the free for all. Give me a player that you would like to be highly successful in 2026.
Just to play a little bit devil's advocate and pick somebody else that somebody else ain't already said, I am going to go with Jalen Phillips, Mr. $120 million man himself. A guy who needs to be, has got to be our pass rusher, our primary pass rusher at that.
Yes.
It's interesting that I'm mentioning them up because we do got an episode of the Invader Spotlight. It's going to be dropping tomorrow, part of the Blue and Black Attack podcast. Make sure you check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's got to be.
That's Jake's show, y'all. Check it out for Jake.
He is a big guy that we're going to have so much expectations for him next year. He's a guy that he don't have the sacks. The sack stats, so to speak, to go with him. But, man, does he give some pressures, man. He gives a shit ton of pressures, and we need this on this defense. I got high expectations for him, and I hope and pray he's going to be a double-digit sack man year one for us.
Love it. Love it, man. Dude, I really think if Jalen Phillips is who Dan Morgan and that front office thinks he is, that we're going to have a top 5 defense this year. I genuinely believe that. But
Hey,
it
Jalen
all
Phillips and
it
Trevin
all
Wallace was up
hinges
there for me.
it all hinges on Jalen Phillips being who we paid him to be. So, and you know what? That's going to end up being a career definer for Dan Morgan. Like if Jalen Phillips doesn't pan out, he's not going to have that job too long. I mean, if Jalen Phillips, you made him the highest paid Panther ever, yeah, man, this is big for everyone, no doubt. Panther
Can I
Pickle.
can I cheat and pick a defensive player also?
So what now? I didn't hear you, man.
Is that can I cheat and also pick a defensive player?
Yeah, sure. Make it. Yeah. Give me like a couple sentences.
Hey, I was just gonna say Nick on the opposite side of Phillips. Last year I felt like Nick was very much Brian Burns esque almost a lot, but that was as a rookie. I think Nick takes a step
Yeah.
forward this year. He's significant. He and Phillips are reason why they're top five.
Yep. Love that. Love that. Panther Pickle. Friday free for all as always. Give me your player you want to be highly successful in
Um,
2026.
I Nick Scorton, that was my pick. Nick Scorton. I think he's going to get double
My
digit
bad.
sacks this year. I'd say at least 11 or 12 sacks this year.
Yeah.
I think he plays a lot of inside and out, and I think he kind of steps into the role where Wharton was supposed to be. I really think that he'll be a. I think it'll be great stopping the run and rushing the passer. Uh, Princely should get a little bit better, but I think Nick's got the power and the speed and the moves to break out this year.
Plus, all the other additions on the defensive line are probably going to force the quarterback his way more often.
Right.
Yep. All right. Last but not least, Team USA's number one cheerleader, Christian, the Sigma Panther. It's another free for all, brother. I appreciate you. Who is the player you are hoping has the most success or has a super successful 2026?
Man, I feel like I'm gonna end up picking the low hanging fruit that no one picked. But first, I'm gonna stay on defense real quick. I'd like to see Bobby Brown and Trevin Wallace really improve.
Okay.
But dude, I'm surprised no one said Bryce. I mean, I'll just take the easy pick.
Jake said Bryce. Jake said Bryce.
No,
Didn't he?
my.
Michael
No,
White did.
Michael, the
Oh,
one that came up
okay.
with the question said
Right.
Bryce.
Okay, sorry.
Right.
So, yeah, dude. I mean, 27th in offense. That's my number one guy right there. He has the ball. He handles the ball on every play. XL, none of our receivers can do well. The tight end can't shine if they're depending on a guy who's not playing well. I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm just saying like he has the most opportunity to take the biggest leap and help this offense succeed this year. So he's my number one that I want to see really succeed. And it'd be nice to like not be having these conversations year after year, and not be wondering if we should go ahead and bite the bullet and take a guy in the mid round or find a free agent that can challenge him. I just want to see consistency and have him basically solidify that starting quarterback of the
Yeah.
future franchise quarterback guy for us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm gonna go another route. So on defense, I'm gonna say Lee Hunter. I want Lee Hunter to
Oh,
be
that's a good
that
pick.
beast in the middle, to actually be that guy that can be a 1-2 punch tandem with Derek
Yes.
Brown in the middle. That would be just incredible if he can turn out
Amen,
to be
Cody.
that kind of player. And then on offense, I'm going Jonathan Brooks. I think if Jonathan Brooks can come out and dominate and be the type of running back that we drafted him to be, I really feel like that could be our future at the running back position. But he has to come out there and prove that he's worth it. And it's going to be tough too because Canal has said that they're going to be giving
I
Chuba
really got
Hubbard
to work on this
what we
Christian thing.
would call
Christian,
bell
what?
cow reps. So
Not
the few
exactly
reps
sure
that
what.
he does have, we're gonna have to hope that he's able to make the most of it. And Yeah, that'll be
Well,
super exciting to watch, man.
we are paying Chuba to be the starting running back, so that does
Yeah,
make
no doubt,
sense.
no doubt. All right, boys. I appreciate each and every single one of y'all. Man, this has been another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. I am your host, Cody Lashney. If everything plays out well, we will be back next Friday for another edition of the Free for All. Until then, keep pounding.